about that
guys?
transition.
So, Talking Guns Game of the Year 2018.
Game of the Year edition. Oh shit.
All the DLCs included.
Oh
One
yeah,
time
yeah. All season pass, all content, all micro. Oh wait, no, microtransactions. If you want to know the, if you want the addendums, if you want the blooper reel, it's a microtransaction. You know,
Yeah.
because now we're funded by
Yeah.
EA. No.
Yeah, and you can purchase the nude mod for these episodes on our Patreon.
That's him.
But what am I going to do with all this footage of you too? You not want me to put it in there?
I don't need a crosshair on my face.
No, I got you.
Mm.
Yeah. I was going through my closet and I was like, oh shit. I have pretty much what I made my Arthur wear in Red Dead Redemption 2. I just don't have the hat. Like, I've got the vest. I've got the shirt. Let's do this.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm gonna miss that fucking guy.
Yep.
And that'll beat the story. But anyway. Talking Guns Game of the Year. Motherfucker, man. We got a lot to talk about. Is there anything, before we start, is there any game that we don't have on this list that you just wanted to mention? That you didn't finish, you didn't...
The only thing I can think of is I started delving into Metro.
Okay.
And the Metro series, but of course that has nothing to do with as far as like 2018. But with the Metro Exodus being released in mid-February, it is a recent game I'm playing, and you know, that's really, I guess, the only real honorable mention that I would state. Doesn't have anything to do with fiscal year 2008. Fiscal year, that wasn't even a fiscal year, but the year 2018, not particularly. Of course, you know, Dave's going to mention No Man's Sky, which has gone through a bunch of iterations, but I have not installed it since, which I was just talking about installing today to see just what perhaps changed.
From what I have seen, though, is it is the game that it should have been now.
Well,
yeah.
Unless I can go on some unless I can go on some planetary piracy operations with you, and Dave and everybody else, fuck it. But I will check it out. I am going to check it out just to give an updated opinion. And
goddamn right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So, Nade, your cue whenever.
All right. So we're going to be doing things in an interesting manner in our own way, and we'll figure this out as we go on here and we do more of these, but we've got subcategories, and we'll go through all the subcategories of what we have, and I'll list those off now. We have early access games, single-player story games, and within single-player story games, we have open world, shooter, we have strategy, isometric, and indie, and then we have horror games as a separate thing, and then we have multiplayer games, and then those have separate subcategories, co-op versus in co-op, you know, PvE, PvP kind of stuff. And then there's also multiplayer battle royale, because I don't want to compare those to anything else, because that's what they do, you know. And we both agreed on that. And then we've got best modded game that we've played, because it's not necessarily that you went back and played the whole story. It was just, you know, the mod made it awesome, or whatever it was that we played. And then survival, and then we have best in gun mechanics, our own, like, stuff that's important to us, yeah, like what we like best gun mechanics, because, you know, we like fucking guns. Best in realism, and then we have best in, like, what gave you a kill boner, like what kind of game just gave you, like, dude, I just fucking, oh, you know, like, it's fucking awesome, yes, fuck them up, you know, like that kind of feeling. So yeah. And then we'll go do our overall, what's our actual total, like, what is my game of the year?
Yes,
for the entire year, and we'll do that.
And it's our opinion, so if you don't fucking like it, fuck you.
Yeah. Go make your own show.
There you go.
Which is why we did this. I don't like your opinion. I'm going to go make my own. But anyway, so as you guys can see here, the color denotes who played the game. Green is me, as in I was the only one that played it. Red is Justin played it and I didn't, and white is both, and that will be throughout the entire talk that we do. As you can see here, you can already tell who played what and who didn't play what and so on. Also, this is not strictly limited to games that came out in 2018.
No,
this
is our combined thoughts for the year period that we've played. We do have a section, I'm not sure if you mentioned it or not, section dedicated to strictly 2018 games. But everything that we're talking about therein is stuff we played that gave us the biggest impact this year. So
I actually got rid of that category because I don't give a shit.
Did you? Well, fuck it then. We don't fucking care. It's
I don't think we cared because when it came down to it, we looked at what we played that came out in 2018 alone, and it was not that many games.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll focus on just that year's release of games if there's actually a good fucking year. If it's a good year, 2018, I think in both of our opinions wasn't necessarily a great year.
Yeah, I mean there were some good games, but
it was like onesies and twosies.
It wasn't like shit. Was it 2016?
2016.
2017.
2016 was.
Yeah, it was I was buying new games every fucking month or multiple times a month, and I was playing those, and it was just crazy. But that didn't really happen this last year. So, well.
But I think we'll and I haven't really discussed this with anybody prior, so we're just kind of fucking firing from the hip, which is hey, fucking improvise, right?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and let Nate go to cover his specific topics, and then I'll cover my specific ones, and then we'll go ahead and both tackle the ones we both played. Does that sound like a good plan of action?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then we'll do the what we know for sure is not going to be on this list.
Okay.
Yeah, because we could sit here and deliberate that World War III should be on there. You know what I mean. So I played Ground Branch. Well, we both played Ground Branch. We both played Star Citizen as far as early access games. I played Atlas. Well, I didn't actually play the game, but it's on there because I installed it. And then I played Scum, or we both played Scum in World War III. And for mine, I would definitely say that Atlas isn't going to be on there because I couldn't even get into the game when I played it.
So the one game that was unique to you, you're just like, fuck that. Goodbye.
Yeah. That one's gone. That one's off the list.
So well, okay. So covering my aspects of my uniqueness, we played Hunt Showdown. They've had quite a few updates. I went ahead and messed with that. Empyrean has gone through quite a few dramatic changes actually, adding a weight distribution system and all that other crazy stuff, which kind of gives it mixed reviews. 7 Days to Die and Visage. So out of those picks, 7 Days to Die had a massive overhaul with that Alpha 17 release. So that kind of changed the mechanics of the games greatly. Early access, out of the early access game titles that I have strictly played, I can tell you Empyrean's not going to be on there. And if I had to pick one,
if you want to give it, if it's good enough that you want to give it a little spotlight as to why it was good.
Oh yeah, fine,
yeah.
And I'll go ahead and cover that. I think out of the list strictly of the games that I've played, not the overall list, but if I have to narrow it down to one, it would be Visage. Okay. Generally due to the constant evolving and not knowing what's going on, and me being a horror fanatic. Why that particularly makes the list is mainly because there's not a lot known about it, and it just keeps constantly evolving and changing and sucks me in, and I'm big on immersion. If we're talking about, since Empyrean and 7 Days to Die, they're both drastically different as far as that aspect, but 7 Days to Die with that Alpha 17 update is probably going to take the cake in that, because Empyrean's been around for a long time, but it's just the massive scale on it. But Hunt Showdown has its share of problems and stuff like that, and there hasn't been really a big update that just kind of really changed the evolution and flow of the game. So to me, Visage is going to take the cake in all those aspects. So
okay.
It's
so like Hunt Showdown, I haven't played it, and the reason I haven't played it is I've seen people play it, and it's got a lot of things that I like about it, with the whole Western thing and going to go hunt stuff down. It's PvPvE, and I like that. It just doesn't seem like it's at a point yet where it's smooth. and would be fun in that regard. I get too hung up on design elements like that, and I would hate it.
Yeah, I tried the
I get angry with
optimization,
it.
and still, like, even with my rig, I have to put everything on fucking low to get the frames I need. So it's like, nah,
So would you agree that that one is not going to be
no,
top?
that's not going to be. Looking
No,
at the entirety
okay,
of the
cross
list,
that
it's
out
not.
too.
So,
And for me, Scum would not be, but I didn't play as much Scum as you. Like Scum has its buenos, and I know for sure. Oh, actually, for sure, World War III would not be on.
no,
there
World
me.
War III is still having issues. Definitely still having
Yeah.
its fucking share of issues. It's getting better, but in comparison to the quality you're getting with everybody else, it's not. So now, judging strictly based upon this list, you've got Ground Branch, you've got Star Citizen, you've got 7 Days to Die, you got Scum and Visage. I would definitely pick Scum over 7 Days to Die. Definitely.
I haven't played 7. I've watched you guys play quite a bit of 7 Days to Die, but
Scum has had some. I think to me, Scum is still, as far as the survival experience, it's the best you're gonna fucking get. But we're talking strictly early access games in terms of quality and stuff.
yeah. I think one thing that would hinder Scum here is just 7 Days to Die has been out longer.
Yeah.
There's more to it.
Yeah. So with this list, go ahead and tell me what your pick would be.
Out of early accesses, I feel weird about saying it, but I would probably say Star Citizen.
Yep, that's me too. That is me too.
Yeah.
Just because
I really like Ground Branch, but whenever I boot that game up, like it was a fuck ton of fun. I love that I can just sit there and make my weapon perfectly how I want it. Like that, a game that makes me want to do, like I go in and I try a different like loadout on it, and then I'm like, no, okay, so this doesn't work well in this situation, so I want to tweak that with this weapon system and stuff like that. And I like that. It's just that where it is right now, as of the course of 2018.
I think it's due to the fact that how a lot of these are fucking phenomenal. They're just very, very bare bones.
Yeah, and I mean they're early access games. So
the early access games are supposed to be bare bones, but just honestly, just due to, I guess, you can factor in WoW factor, you can factor in the amount of things that you can do and the different open-endedness and stuff like that. And as far as like, trust me, if Star Citizen was the unstable fucking mess that it used to be, I wouldn't even be on this fucking list. But because it's come a long way in terms of optimization and running smoothly and everything else, it's on there, and that's my pick as far as early access titles in comparison to the others. So overall, done. There you go.
So would you say that Star Citizen would be above Visage for you?
I think in the grand scheme of things, it would be, yes. I would play Visage, but once I blast through Visage, I probably would not play Visage again, where Citizen I can just reboot up an infinite amount of fucking times and go. Plus, it's got the immersion factor, and I'm big on that. So, really big on immersion factor. Ground Branch is great, of course. I'm a big Ground Branch guy, but there's not enough there in comparison to the others as far as options and accessibility yet.
Yeah, this is a yet thing.
Yet.
This is just 2018. Yep. I would love to have we do early access games next year, and it's like, dude, Ground Branch, man.
Yep. My big, if you're talking about my big contenders, it's going to be Ground Branch on there. It's going to be Scum. It's going to be fucking Star Citizen. Those big three right there are what I'm really rooting for. World War III, they're gonna have to turn it around. They're gonna have to turn it around.
Now I like World War III, but so far it just feels like a different take on Battlefield for me.
The ones that are kind of like the ones that are kind of they got some work to put in to turn the public opinion around would be Hunt and what's the other one I'm looking for? Well, Atlas, obviously.
Well, there are a ton of people playing it now.
Yeah.
And it's got quite a bit of depth from what I've seen. Like you can run companies and stuff like that.
Bad launch stuff. Really bad launch
Yeah.
stuff. 7 Days to Die, it's kind of that middle ground, man. It's like Alpha 17 was definitely a big push in the right direction, and if they keep going with it, man, I'm very, very curious to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Visage is kind of a weird area because it's immersive, but nobody really knows too much about the game, and that's done purposefully. Like nobody knows the backstory on it, so it's like you have to figure things out as you go along. You know what I mean? And it's only got one chapter, so it's one of those like definitely keep your eyeball on it. You know, keeping your eyeball on those out of this list is definitely Hunt, 7 Days to Die, and Visage.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to compare them because Visage is a story game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're not doing survival category; we're doing overall early access.
Yeah.
Scum,
So,
Star Citizen, Ground Branch are my big three. Big three ones I'm really got a hard on for. So definitely on my list of games that I'll cycle repeatedly to play. So
yeah, and I'm excited for Scum. You know, when it's got some more, and I want to sink my teeth into it and stuff like that. I do want to play 7 Days to Die at some point this coming year. I want to get into that and try that out. But as far as like, okay, so as far as like over the last year, regardless of when it started, what has surprised me the most would be Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Because it went from like, oh man, this is really cool, but I can't do shit, to now like, oh, well, it's playable. It's definitely playable. It doesn't crash as much anymore. And then what they did with their whole, like when we talked about their whole roadmap and all that, like, I'm like, fuck yeah, man.
Well, now I think that was a good push in the right direction. I think if more early access companies do roadmaps to kind of show what they're doing, that's smart play. I think World War III doing that was a smart fucking play too. You know, if you've got a roadmap to kind of see like what your central focus is, and you know, you've kind of, it gives everybody a layout onto what's going to potentially come, and what's going to kind of see the product you're buying into. Does that make sense? You know?
Yeah.
It's so okay. I have an informed opinion upon what kind of final product I can expect.
Yeah.
You know, having
there was the idea already, but
you know, having a roadmap is great. I think it's great as far that way, you know, you're being transparent. You don't buy into a game and then look and be like, why the fuck did I invest in this? This was not at all what I envisioned it to be, the final product to be. So when you have a roadmap, it's like, all right, I can kind of see where we're going with this and what the end game goal is, and this is something I can get behind. It just makes sense.
Yeah. You know what's funny is we didn't put EFT on here. It's because we started that before 2018, right? But I mean, still, it's. I wouldn't win.
No.
But yeah,
I'll just be real with you. I fire up EFT. Do I like the game? Yeah, but sorry, compared to all these other lists, I'm just like, I don't fucking care right now.
Yeah, and they also did some things.
Yeah, they did some rotten shit.
Yeah.
Which has no, I mean, bearing as far as enjoyment factor, the game itself, separatism, but it's still the company that did it. So I'm just like, fuck off. I'm just tired of playing through like wipes. You know. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. And what we've heard from a lot of people is like, I can't wait to see what all these fuck sticks do when it starts coming down to you actually have to go leave to extract.
Right.
So you played like a dumbass and you're fucking limping and bleeding out and out of meds, you know.
Once they start incorporating more survival, like a lot of the games where I will say this, like I'm really still rooting for early access games that don't have a publisher attached to them, it doesn't have a huge umbrella company monitoring what they do, because I think that's great. So I'm a big proponent of seeing these things come to fruition. It's just, you know, of course, there's that aggravation of, you know, waiting. So as more things get implemented, the enjoyment factor increases. So as long as they continually update as well, you know, they don't fall by the fucking wayside. Yeah,
I hope eventually it'll get there. With all these games, eventually it'll get there. Yep. Hopefully. But yeah, again, I'm looking forward to playing. I'm gonna play 7 Days to Die this coming year at some point. I will. It will fucking happen. Goddamn, I will play Hunt Showdown sometime this coming year.
Still on my hard drive.
Happen. Yeah, it'll happen. But I would say Star Citizen.
Yep.
I mean, fuck, dude, I got to break out my HOTUS again for it. You know, like, woo! So that would be mine.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, so that would be like our TG agreed. How do I insert a text box? Easy here. Whatever. So this would be our agreed here, Star Citizen.
Star Citizen.
And then your personal would be Visage?
Yes.
Okay. My personal would probably be
No, if it's not Atlas.
yeah. I'll do mine on the left side then. We'll do mine on the left side, yours on the right side, and then double stars for, or maybe we won't do stars for our agreed, huh?
We'd like to have you. We'd like to have you on the Scum server too.
Bracket it. Fuck it. Just bracket it. Star Citizen won that.
Yep.
I mean, that would be fun. It'll happen. It'll happen this year. I'm going to get back into Scum. I'm waiting. So I want to get into some of that building stuff, and there's not as much as I want right now. But yeah. All right.
Open World Game of the Year.
The Game of the Year gold. I have to go add a full screen to do that. That's a problem.
Fuck it. Too much. Don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is actually just a it's actually just an overlay over you guys can see. Boom. Over the screen, so I can easily just get in there and do stuff, and I learned the shortcut for cross out. But anyway, so we are into our single player story games with our subcategory of open world. Now this is technically anything that's pretty much open world, regardless of how good the game was. And we play, it doesn't matter when it came out, just that we played it in 2018.
All right, so cover your unique perspective, since this is mostly a green list.
Yeah, so I mean, we both played Far Cry 5, and that is technically open world. I just finished yesterday Red Dead Redemption 2. I also played Assassin's Creed Origins in 2018. I got to it late, and I'll probably get to Odyssey late in 2019. Sleeping Dogs, played that too. That was a gift from Penguin. Kingdom Come Deliverance, fuck that game. That one's gonna be taken off from me. And God of War. And then we both played Division, which is technically an open world game because it's, you know, Manhattan. And then Arma 3. So.
Oh, I played Odyssey. I mean, what else do you want me to say about it? That's my one experience. I don't have anything to compare it to, so we're probably just gonna bypass that entirely because unless there's more red on this list, I can't cover my specific games. So let's go ahead and cover the foundation of everything.
All right. Well, I know for sure that Kingdom Come Deliverance won't be on there.
Okay.
Because well, what happened was it's a very ambitious game. They actually went and took like actual real armor and weapons, and then would hit the armor with the different weapons to see what it does, so that they could make the game realistic in how weapons affect what you're fighting. So like if you took a sword to somebody in full plate mail, it's just going to kind of like dent it. It's not, unless you do stabs, and like you have to get specific spots. And the fighting mechanics are really fucking cool, and again, ambitious. It's just that the game was so janky on release with problems that it was like it felt like I spent 6 hours on this one group of enemies to fight, trying to figure out what's killing me over and over again. Because granted, I wasn't supposed to be fighting these guys. They were higher level than me, and there is an actual mechanic in the game where you get better at fighting, so your guy doesn't tire as quickly. He also switches positions with his sword more quickly, and so on and so forth. But regardless of that, if I am, you know, I'm a very stubborn person when I play games. So regardless of that, I should have been able to take everybody out if I learned it, you know. Regardless, I should still be able to get people. I mean, I got most of them in that scenario, but it got very frustrating in that regard because it was so janky. And so I was like, I'm gonna stop playing it, and hopefully they fix it. And I tried to refund it actually, but I went 6 hours into it because I gave it a fair shake of trying to learn it. But yeah.
All right. I already know what your pick's gonna be. I can tell you right now, this list of games, and I actually haven't played this game personally. Well, I have a little bit, but I haven't streamed it or anything else. I think just due to the mechanics and the story elements of it and everything else, what I'm looking at this for, and the real big thing is it's hard to incorporate a very immersive story into an open world game, and I think Red Dead Redemption 2 does that very well. So
True.
if I were to
Yeah.
handpick something out of this fucking list, now granted I don't have a fucking PS4, so I can't fuck with God of War, but if you put all these games in front of me and I picked one, it would probably be for open world. My open world fix, it would be Red Dead Redemption 2. Easily.
Okay. So that would be your nomination there from what you've seen.
Yes.
All right. So as far as trying to knock out some more that I know wouldn't be in this open world, like as far as its story in an open world setting, I feel that Tom Clancy's Division wouldn't win.
Yeah, just from a strictly open world standpoint, single player.
Yeah, it's in other categories later on. Yeah, but no,
we're talking story, open world games.
And Arma 3 story, no.
They're
no.
Not for story.
The story in that kind of sucked. Yeah.
Not unless you're creating.
Sleeping Dogs was good. It was unique, but it's not going to contend with some of these others for me. It's definitely not going to. And that was I don't even remember who you play as. Apparently you play as Kahuna, but because that's his actual life. But yeah, Arma 3 does have a story, and
there's multiple campaigns actually.
Yeah, but Sleeping Dogs, it was very much like somebody else's take on GTA.
Okay.
But more kung fu-y. And I mean, the action scenes when you're fighting were great, and the story was compelling because you play as a guy that used to be in the gangs, and then you come back, and your if I remember this correctly, your sister had died to drug addiction, and you were trying to help some people get out of the gang scene, and then you're an undercover cop, so you also are trying to bring down the gangs, and you end up, doing so. But it was a fun game. It was cool, but I don't see it beating, like God of War or Red Dead 2 for me. Personally, I don't. It was fun, and I'm glad I played it. I just, and I don't. I mean, man, that's kind of hard with Origins, because Origins, as far as Assassin's Creed is what they what Assassin's Creed needed. Assassin's Creed needed what they did to Origins, where you legit get into the dark Egyptian lore and the gods and stuff, and actually it's where the Assassins started that whole thing. So, which is cool and great, and I really enjoyed it. And I put 95 hours into that game, but I wouldn't say that compared to God of War or Red Dead Redemption 2 to give me those amount of feelings in it. It was good. But so I wouldn't say that one would win either. I enjoyed it, but for me, if we want to just jump to it, I don't think Far Cry 5 would make it either.
I mean, good story. Okay. Well,
yeah.
When you get to the ending,
that was kind of a cop out in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
it was, but I did like what they did with taking the same, all right, what worked is having a crazy person.
Yeah, they have crazy people. I think it's been crazy people for
that's their thing. Yeah, right. But they did a good job of making it a family that you have to take down. That was good. Oh. That was a good idea. I agree with that. And then they took that exact same idea and put it in Assassin's Creed. Where you have to take down.
Oh, and the controversy around 5 too, because in fucking America, great.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that. I enjoed that it was on American soil, and
and the controversy because it was a religious group, and I was just like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was great for that regard. But as far as its open world storytelling, as far as open world story, it was not as compelling as I would say Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War. Now, my thing with Red Dead Redemption 2 is there's a lot of problems with the mechanics, but this isn't about mechanics. This is about the story. The story is really, really long in Red Dead Redemption 2. I just finished it yesterday. And, technically, I started it in 2018. But, because we're doing this on the 12th of January, 2019. But, my thing with it is it's not, you get choices here and there. And based on your choices and your honor system, I don't really care for how they do the honor system, because most of the time you get negative honor for the stupidest reasons that had, like, if you walk up on a random dead body, you're like, oh, I wonder what he's got on him. I'm gonna loot him. Oh, it turns out it was a good guy that got killed by a bad guy, or just killed by some random thing. So you just lost honor for not pickpocketing, just looting his dead body. Like, nothing, you didn't do anything bad, but it counts against you.
You stole from the family, man.
Whatever, man. It annoys me. Also, if somebody's getting attacked by a cougar, right? And I'm like, oh shit, a cougar? Okay, those things will fuck me up. I'm gonna slowly get up here. All right, I've got the right gun out so I can take it out in one shot. My dead eye's good. And if you take too long and they get killed by the cougar, you're like going to go help them. If you don't stop the cougar or wolf from killing the guy, then that also counts against you.
Oh, okay.
In honor. And it's like,
that wouldn't bother me that much.
I mean, you know, I mean, there's been times where I just let him kill him because I think it's funny, but that shouldn't count against me because I didn't help. Now, maybe if I shot him in the fucking face.
Action is a choice, Nade.
I know, but like I've legitimately tried to help before and I just didn't make it in time and it counted against me, and it's annoying. You know, it just pisses me off. It's not like I was fucking dragging. It's not like the time where there was an achievement for horseman challenges where I had to drag somebody 3,000 meters. You know, like, oh fuck it, I'll just go find some random dude and drag his dead body 3,000 meters. You know, he died about 1,000 into that. Fuck it, you know, like that. I understand why that would be a negative. You know. So I get it.
Okay.
So, but that honor system where you're on the bar, you know, red, white, depicts what kind of ending you get, good or bad. So with that, it kind of pisses me off that that's what it comes down to. Thankfully, I got the good ending, but what I have to remind myself about the story in Red Dead is that when you're playing an open world game with so many choices as to what you do with your time and how you design your character, how they look, their facial hair, you know, how you get very attached to the character, like how it's you. Like, fuck this dude, he just bumped into me or said something to me, I'm gonna shoot him in the face. You know, like that's you doing that, not Arthur. And that line gets a little blurred. So as the story started progressing and certain things start happening in Red Dead Redemption 2's story, I was getting frustrated because I'm like, that's not what I would do, and I wish that Arthur wouldn't do that, but he keeps doing things anyway, and I had to stop and think about it, and it's, you know, like I was off stream just sitting here like still frustrated with Red Dead, and I hadn't even beat it yet. I'm like, God, why does Arthur keep doing this shit? Why does he keep staying with these guys? They fucking don't trust him. He's actually trying to help them. He's got, you know, he's dying of TB and stuff, you know, and like he's starting to gain a conscience and stuff like this, and Dutch is going crazy. But so we're gonna have spoilers about this while we talk about this if you don't want to hear it, by the way, while we're deliberating these, just so you know. So but anyway, I had to remind myself that it's like reading a book or watching a movie. You know, I am not the one that controls.
You're not controlling a self-made avatar, despite the fact that you have customization options and cosmetic options, stuff like that. It kind of starts to blur it, but at the end of the day, it's an odd paradox of you are making the decisions, but at the same time you're not making the decisions in a way. So
yeah, and I will say that this is probably the first game that I've been so frustrated with, where like it's like I see that the tracks are out for the train, and there's nothing I can do to stop it, and I know it's going to happen, and by continuing to play the game, I'm just going to let it play out. You know, like it's going, like the train is going to go off the rails. It is going to like take however long it takes a train to actually fucking tumble, and all the track and all the cabins and everything to flip, and people to get fucked up as it happens and stuff like that. You know, like, so I finished it, and I'm pissed about it, but I don't think I've had a game do that to me before, you know, where I'm just like, God damn it. Like, after I was done streaming, I had to go down to the bar down the street and go have like a beer and just sit there and like, I just need to get out of my room and sit here with a beer and just think about it and eat a sandwich and just like, this fucking...
All you're doing is make me want to fucking play the game.
It made me feel feelings, man, but like more of anger, because like how it, like watching how it played out, you know. So like, that's good. I understand why they did it that way, because you're watching somebody else's story play out, and you're not okay with it, but you can't look away, you know, like that kind of thing. So good. Very, very good. And as far as just story, like as far as the story is concerned, it is a very long story in that game. I mean, I put like 60 hours into hunting, and then it took me another pretty much 60 hours to beat the story. So I put in well over 100 hours into this game, and I didn't even do nearly everything in it. So, and like you said, a game that made me want to get so immersed in the world where I just spent 60 hours hunting shit. You know, like that's ridiculous. That's not even like me doing side quests. That was just me doing things I want to do. Because that's not even a progression thing. I just want to do that. I want to go see what's up in those mountains and see if I can go kill an elk and then bring its shit back and not use the in-game map and use the map it came with and terrain associate and stuff like that. God, this is gonna fuck me up on this, huh? Because I love God of War. Because God of War was great and amazing, and it's kind of open world with the way that they did a very interesting way of how the world unfolded. Was the farther you get in the story, the more the world opens up to you, because it's actually a giant lake. And what's the name of the giant snake in lore?
You pronounce it multiple ways, but I think the agreed upon is Yugamon.
Yeah, so Yugamon,
however you choose to pronounce.
That's not what they call him in the game, but Yugamon starts rising out of Yorgamund. Okay, he starts rising out of the water, and so that makes the water displace more, so that it shows more levels to the lake that you're in, the area, which has mountains that you go into and stuff, which is a really cool mechanic. And also, I played bits of them, but I had not played them through the entire game. I played God of War 1, 2, 3, and then I played the newest God of War that just came out in 2018. So that was awesome to see Kratos' progression and then turn into a father, and that whole, so like that made me feel like some cool things about him and him connecting and like going from the point of view of, you know, like this guy that loves to slay everything, and now he still likes to do that, but he's also a dad now, but he also teaches his son how to fuck shit up. Like, so that was cool to experience.
I think I'm starting to understand the dynamic of why you like God of War versus RDR2.
Yeah,
I have an opinion. I think because you're seeing
what's that?
I think you're seeing a transition from someone who's generally dark-natured into doing a positive role model thing because now he has a son, versus RDR2 where you're generally doing a lot of bad things, maybe for a misguided good purpose, but it's still bad things, so it doesn't set well with you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's for somebody else's agenda. I was doing bad things, and I didn't agree with it.
Right.
Which bothered me a lot in Red Dead, because he kept doing stuff for Dutch, even though he completely just did not believe in it, like helping the Native Americans fucking kill the army. You know, like that's a terrible idea.
Nate likes feel-good stories. Nate doesn't like dark stories. Very interesting dynamic, because you and I are very opposite regard.
But I love wrecking shit, and God of War gave me that, like, because I played it on the highest difficulty through God of War, and it was hard at first, and I'm glad I stuck to it, because as the game, like the progression as far as mechanics was really good in that regard, as far as like I got more abilities and got better to the point where I was wrecking shit, and I started getting that like, dude, I am fucking stuff up. So I guess really for my single player open world, it kind of ties in that I played all the God of Wars together, and that's why I loved it so much, is because I played all of them for the first time and then the new one.
Well, the debate wasn't whether he was dark or not. The debate was, it was more of a positive uplight to it, was my point.
Yeah.
So
also huge spoilers for God of War, by the way, everybody. Well, we're talking about God of War, so. But if you couldn't already tell. But man, I don't know, it's a hard one. That's a hard one for me. It's hard for me to choose because both of them, like, it wasn't until I beat Red Dead Redemption 2 yesterday, and I finished all the story. It wasn't until then. God of War was my first. For the story in an open world game.
Plus, I think it's more of an epic story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
all right, okay. So to be fair, then, if I'm gonna bust this down into thinking logically, this is open world.
Mm-hmm.
And if I open world story, if I compare God of War's open world story and how immersed I got in the world versus Red Dead Redemption 2 and how immersed I got in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2, I didn't spend 60 hours doing side shit that didn't achieve anything other than I was hunting animals for outfits that gave me no statistical advantage. I just liked doing it. So I guess I would say that Red Dead wins that for me then, in an open world capacity.
Well, I mean, let's do a comparison. Let's break it down to what story elements, with the understanding of the differences of, if we're doing a comparison, pros and cons, that the one has over the other. If you want to break it down.
Okay, so as far as what I want to do in the world, my motivation as a player in God of War, the new one, in the world was to get better stuff and also experience it. What little secrets it had, what little puzzles it had, to get better gear, to experience him with his son and their interactions and stuff like that. That would be my reason. Red Dead Redemption 2 came down to the point where it was I made my own experience. So arguably one is awesome, you know, God of War awesome, but like I mean, again, I spent 60 hours going to hunt shit, not using the in-game map. You know what I mean? Like,
I think what you have is two very, very, very
they're a different experience.
Awesome games that are very different. Would you agree with me then, since I can't fucking possibly play the game, but just from an outsider perspective, God of War has a personal investment for the character. I mean, obviously you're playing with your fucking son, so there's a personal attachment there. On top of, I'm still freezing.
Come on, Discord. Stop being stupid. There we go. No, are you moving right now?
I am. Oh, there we go.
Okay. No, it's doing, motherfucker.
Chug-a-lug-a-lug. All right. Well, can I still be heard is the question.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. So it's like having a. I'm still locking up, dude. That's pretty bad right now. It's almost like a personal attachment, and you have the growth with the father and son mechanic on top of an epic storyline of conquering some gigantic adversary or some monstrous adversary. Is that correct?
What you do in God of War?
Yes.
Well, the whole mission in that game is to get the mother's ashes to the top of the highest point in the land,
In order to
and spread her ashes, because that was her final wish. And there's all these obstacles that get in the way of fucking gods getting in the way, monster, you know, like all these different races and like what you have to do to get there.
What was the point of them being antagonists then?
I mean, I guess they're not really antagonists. It doesn't really come down to protagonist, antagonist in the story, really, I guess, because it's not really necessarily good and bad. Although he teaches his son good and bad, but as far as them in that game and them getting to what they needed to do, that experience with the dynamic of his son versus just Kratos on his own, you know, like in the other games, Kratos just fucking kills everything. That's what he does. And that's the progression, is to kill all the things. Whereas this was a little more complicated. It gets way more in depth. And to see that is amazing.
Okay.
But,
whereas
so
I
that
think
compared to,
go ahead.
well, that compared to Red Dead, where I think where you're going is the more of playing out the story of somebody else with a crash and burn ending kind of thing. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, the overarching goal is I guess twisted into a different light. It's more of a, hey, we're respecting the last rights and wishes of something, and therefore we're having it seems like it's a very, very personable story, you know. Whereas the other one seems to be what it's you're the last remnants of what, an outlaw gang trying to do what?
Trying to make it. Trying to finally make it so you can leave. That was the whole plan the entire time. So you could leave and go retire, pretty much.
Okay. By doing very, very crooked things. So it's almost like one, it's not necessarily I don't know if you consider God of like Kratos an anti-hero. I guess you could consider him an
Yeah,
anti-hero.
he would be
Definitely an
well, he's also
anti-hero.
kind of a villain sometimes.
Whereas RDR2, you're clearly playing what, a villain? Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Starts off as a villain, then kind of then starts changing into he starts like once he understands his mortality, he starts trying to do better things with his life. Well, that's the choice you can make is you can start doing better things.
Right. So probably doesn't set well with a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it just based upon your personal investment and everything else. I mean, it's very, very hard to pick one over the other. I mean, what you told me, God of War appeals to the fuck, out of to me too. So it's like, damn. I mean,
Oh, God of War, I would definitely recommend playing God of War. Definitely recommend playing. It was fucking amazing.
I just want to be Josie Wales, okay? So I'm just like RDR2.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
I'm a little bit more adapted to playing
the
a
Red
villain.
Dead.
I don't know.
Yeah. The Red Dead gives you the immersion factor of like
It's relatable
like
to
that
life.
line gets blurred a lot, and that's why it affected me. Like I got so angry.
It's on Earth.
So,
It uses,
you get to be a fucking cowboy.
earthly laws, as it were.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
the other one is a fantasy.
Yeah. And it's an amazing experience and fun.
So
okay, but I think when it comes down to it, as far as open world story game, I would probably say that Red Dead wins for this category.
okay.
For me. So that would be mine. And you say you're gonna default to whatever mine was there or whatever as we agree for the TG, I mean?
I would tell you, hand picking one of those, I personally would lean towards Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay, so that would be the TG win.
Yes.
Okay.
If that's what you're choosing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree together. Like,
I just wanted to get a very informed
Yeah.
opinion on God of War.
yeah.
So
like, this would be my own personal in this category, as well as with these, and I'm very conflicted about it, but I would agree for both of us as TG coming together, what would win would be Red Dead Redemption 2.
okay.
Because we both have that interest in it. So, boom. Deliberation! Boom, there we go. That's the one that won that. Oh, man. That was a hard choice. I didn't think it would be that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna prod. So
Now I want some Dickie's barbecue. God damn it.
Well, Nate, tell us about Hitman, Quantum Break, and RDR2. Even though we already talked about RDR2 pretty in-depthly.
All right, so as far as our shooter genre, see, we have again Far Cry 5 is in here. Shooters in story, by
Yes.
the way, not as PvP proponent or whatever. Far Cry 5, Battlefield 5, Resident Evil 5 that we've both played. I played Hitman. I played several of the Hitmans over the past year. Destiny 2, Quantum Break, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Max Payne 3. I didn't play Max Payne 3 in 2018, but Justin did.
Yes.
So. But as far as Quantum Break, it was cool. It was interesting. It was a weird... It was a different take to playing a video game I've ever seen. It had a lot of episodes in it, like live action footage of the actual characters. Like they directly made them based off actors. So based on the choices you made in the game, you got different episode sections. So like you do a block of gameplay, then it would show a live action episode based on the choices you made, and then a block of gameplay, and then a live action episode. And then it would just keep, like, the story played out that way, which was interesting. And it was all about timey-wimey shit and ruining the continuum and going back and forth and doing crazy things. And these brothers that were working on a time machine thing, and it broke, and it kind of split them so that they could have powers and stuff like that. It was cool. So
this sounds almost like it's hard to quantify Quantum Break as shooter category because it sounds like it's touching a bunch of other different stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't know where else to put it.
Yeah.
Because like it does have guns in it, but that's not really what the point of it is. Like, I guess we should have had a narrative category, like best in narrative, but we'll do that next year.
Sure.
Let me write that down then. Next year.
Next year.
Narrative category. All right. So I wouldn't say it would win this then, as far as a shooter. So this is more of like the mechanics of a shooter. What would you say, or would you say that like it's a shooter with a good story?
I didn't really get the impression that Quantum Break was a big shooter.
I mean, it's not a big one. It's not. But it would fit better in narrative. When we have a narrative category, so I wouldn't say they would win.
I think it would have more in common with like, what's that company, Quantic Dream, where they made like Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human and Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play Detroit Become Human, so we need to have a narrative category because Detroit Become Human wouldn't fit in a shooter either. So we'll do that next year. Boom, there we go. We'll have that. That makes sense because Quantum Break would fall under that, and then
yeah, we should, because I played Heavy Rain I think times to get back when I had PS3, and I played Indigo Prophecy twice. I'm actually doing another playthrough of that on PC, and I haven't been able to touch Detroit Become Human or Two Souls. Was it Two Souls? Beyond Two Souls. Yeah. I didn't get to fuck with that either.
Heavy Rain. Dude, I said last year I was going to play Heavy Rain. I have it installed on my PlayStation, and I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I played about 3 or 4 times and trying all kinds of different things. So,
yeah, that would be a narrative. I mean, we could still add a narrative category if you want. Down the list, or no, we'll do it next year.
We'll do honorable mentions or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as this category, maybe Quantum Break would win. It was good, but it was really. I recommend playing it if you see it cheap. It's fun.
No.
It's really interesting, and I was like, that was a good experience. All right.
I didn't play Dishonored 1 and 2, so it's not on my list. Not this year, anyway.
Yeah, I didn't play it in 2018. This is strictly games that we played in 2018.
So,
regardless of when they came out. So,
honestly, looking at this fucking list,
not sponsored by Coke.
I'm leaning kind of towards Max Payne 3 on the side of things. But that's me.
See, I didn't play it in 2018, but out of all of these, as far as a story, it would win. Because that was a great story.
Yeah.
Seeing him devolve and not give a shit.
Oh,
and still be the good guy.
Yeah.
That was awesome. like no shit. Like, I don't give a fuck anymore, but I still end up being the good guy. Yep. Like,
raging fucking alcoholic to fucking, yeah.
Pill popper. Goddamn.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen the YouTube video A Day in the Life of Max Payne, you need to fucking watch it. It's hilarious. If you've played Max Payne 3, it's perfect to go with it. But so, I mean, the story was great in that. As far as like, this actually made me think about this because of Red Dead 2 when I beat it, and I was walking back from the bar last night, and I was like, you know, that's what Destiny misses. Is like, I love shooting aliens with my friends, but it just doesn't make me just go like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make me feel feelings.
I don't think it's
like,
really, whoa. I think it's more,
I mean, I would just do that now, but I mean, would you say that it's win?
I'm playing Destiny 2 to get better loot stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and kill aliens with friends.
Yep.
That's fun. That's why I play it. The story is enjoyable, but it's not necessarily. And the lore is really fucking cool. There's a lot of lore in it, right? Seraphim's talking about.
Yep.
And I have the lore book, and I have a fuck ton of Destiny stuff. I really like Destiny, but yeah, it's not really prevalent in the game. So.
Speaking of which, Bungie separating we'll see what happens, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got
Activision
positive
stock
feelings
dropping.
from that. I got positive feelings
Yeah.
from that. I'm like, oh, okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you hear that after the end of when the stocks closed or whatever for the end of the day, they announced that Activision's stock dropped by like 10%?
Yeah, and there's an investigation going
Because of
on
that?
or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I think Doc had posted that in Discord, but
Ooh.
I mean, there's a fuck ton of lore about Destiny. There's a ton of stuff. There's a ton there that just is not presented in the game itself. So it's cool. There's a ton of it, and like as chat's going on here, there's a ton of what's in Destiny. It's just not there for you to experience. And it froze you again, motherfucker.
Yeah, it keeps fucking doing that.
Now, as far as Hitman's story, Hitman's never been about the story for me.
No, it's always been about like pulling off the perfect fucking assassination.
Yeah, it's more about the experience, not the story in it. So I'm just gonna. I really like it, but yeah. And then RE5, I played that with Pink, the co-op, and I think that was just more of it was more of just like playing it together. It was fun. But the story sucks in that one. I mean, dude, you literally punch a boulder to death. You know, like at the end of it. Yeah, that's just stupid. Like,
it's Resident Evil, man. It's not like Resident Evil has always been a horror category for me. So the like RE5 to me was just like,
yeah.
Like I'm fucking RE2 remake, baby. Oh yeah, come on.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, go back to it. You need to get your hands on some RE7. Do it. Fucking do it.
I think I really do need to play it. I've seen the whole thing though, from like you streaming it. I've seen other people stream it. So like the story for me would already be spoiled.
Fucking play it.
So be more about the experience at that point. And I'll grab it like cheap sometime. But
I did not watch the dev stream. I played my 30-minute window though, which Twitch deleted. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Odd.
Yeah, that is weird. I wanted to go watch it. I wanted to see it.
Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, where the fuck did my VOD go? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I did play the story in Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I don't think it's going to win, but...
I mean, compared to Max Payne 3.
Yeah, it's not going to win.
Okay.
It was cool, but I think it's worth mentioning because it's in here. Why it's in here? Because they did Battlefield has lately been in their past couple games has been doing like mini stories.
Yes.
Where you play as different people in different scenarios. Like the last one was you were the last Tiger tank, which is cool. You play as a Nazi in a Tiger tank, killing fuck tons of American Shermans and stuff like that. It was an interesting perspective, especially with how it ended because of their whole like if you desert you get shot thing. So that happened a couple times in it where your tank crew gets shot because they deserted. And this was like towards the final, like the Americans and everybody were pushing through and just like, and they were having this confliction of like, man, you know, what happened to the dream? What happened to the whole, you know, Third Reich? We're amazing. This is what we're going to take over the world. Dude, we're getting our shit pushed in left and right. And then if we falter at all, we get hung or shot. You know, like we're seeing all of our dead comrades hung in the streets with signs, deserter, and we're trying to defend this shit. You know, like, so it was interesting from that perspective of that you do play as a Nazi. And then there was another part where you play as a black Frenchman.
I'm sure you love that part, the Nazi part.
Well, it was an interesting confliction thing. You know, like you get to see the other side. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And you still fuck shit up as a Tiger tank, but... and you're like, yeah, get him, get him, get him. Like, wait a minute, God damn it. And then that's what it made me feel, though. At the end of it, I was like, wow, I can't believe I felt bad for a Nazi getting shot by Americans and stuff, you know, like, because you get to know them and stuff. But, you know, it's still like, I'm excited to see more of that come out in the future where it's been a while and we can now start showing more stories from that perspective, the other side, you know. Because I mean, they still had the conflictions of feeling like a piece of shit for all the things they did too, and like we do, you know. I mean, well, depending.
Now, are we getting into Jungian psychology all of a sudden?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, but like it's deep shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's cool that they showed that, but it's too short to really beat, you know, like Max Payne 3, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so I would say that it's getting good crossed off, but it was worth talking about because of how enjoyable it was.
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about Red Dead a fuck ton.
Yeah. I think you didn't like the shooting mechanics in that, so let's
no. As far no. I mean, I won't cross it out because I don't want to do that to Red Dead, but I don't think it's gonna win here because there's a lot of mechanical problems in that game. So that was not why I like that game. For a shooter, that was not why. But so I would say the argument would be between Max Payne 3 and Far Cry 5.
Right. And I think Far Cry 5 has a better, my opinion, has a better fit into a different category other than just shooter.
Well, the bullets were slow as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, those.
It's not necessarily the best part of it. It's part of the experience, but not the best part.
Not from a story perspective. I think
I would say Max Payne 3 wins.
Yes. Yeah. From a story perspective, yes. Single player wise too. Far Cry 5 just elevates itself entirely when you co-op with it. Yeah.
And I mean, as a whole experience of Far Cry 5, it's great. It's not. I did not get the as Max Payne though. I mean, it's fucking Max Payne, dude. At the end, you just look like Walter White with a drug problem. You know, and you just don't give a shit anymore, and you're just walking through the streets of, where was it? It was fucking Brazil, like the shitty part of town, in shades and a fucking Hawaiian shirt, just saying fuck it. Yeah. Shoot gangbangers, I don't care. Yeah. I mean, you got the job done though. So like that whole thing about him, as far as your character, is way better.
Yep. All right.
So from a story standpoint, I'd say it wins.
Max Payne 3 it is.
How many we're already on the fourth slide. That's 3 categories already.
Well, I mean,
do you want to take a break?
Do we need a break?
Because there's a total of 18 slides, so I don't know if we want to make it a regular every hour or so.
We're gonna need lots of breaks, chat.
Yeah, so we could push it for another hour, but do we want to
No, I am perfectly okay. Yep.
Okay. All right. But yes, I'd agree with you, Doc. Red Dead Redemption 2 shooting mechanics equal Deadeye spam, and it got to the point where I had it perfected, where the best thing to do is you turn your aim assist to wide aim. Thank you, Big Head, for that, by the way, man. Wide, so it's like super strong aim assist. You just have to tap the aim button, and then it'll just pull you to somebody, and then you click Deadeye really quick, and then put one on their head, fire, and then just keep doing that, like for each individual person. Don't do it all in one Deadeye section. Fun. Just go. Because that uses the least amount of your Deadeye bar to do it that way. So that's what that game came down to. And those of you that were watching is pretty much what it became. So, yeah. Every 6 slides, 2 more.
Well, I can't do a dance competition when I'm locking up my fucking video feed every 10 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, we could do every 6, but I mean, we just spent quite a while talking about story, and we've got, what's the next one? Let's take a look. We've got strategy.
Oh, this is going to be... I'm going to touch the fuck out of this one.
Yeah. You got a lot to say about strategy games. And after that is isometric, so we got a fuck ton of talk about isometric.
All right. Let's hit it. Let's break it.
Indie, and that's even more, so...
Let's break it.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we will be talking about the great, good old strategy category.
Dun, 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 dun.
South Park wins.
Story-wise,
I mean, technically it falls under there because it's a strategy game, so that's why we put it in there.
Yep.
So, all right. All right, guys, we'll be back momentarily.
Adios.
Welcome back, guys. Right at the tail end of that song. That was great.
Oh, hey, how about that?
Ooh, papa. There we go. That's gone. I need to stretch around a bit. Oh man, have some conflictions that I just chose Red Dead Redemption 2 over God of War. Like, can't believe I did that, but it's true. It's true. I mean, I'm wearing fucking Arthur's clothes.
Well, I mean, obviously it had some sort of impact. I mean, I don't see you wearing a goddamn fucking helmet or anything.
With my axe and like face paint. I could do that. I do have face paint. I could go do that, but I'm not going to. But anyway. So strategy. None of these were just I played, so if you want to go.
Well, there's something I want to touch up on, like shooting mechanics, how they get compared to realism.
In this category?
No, not in this category. But there's not a game that emulates real mechanics out there, period. Why do I say that? Because all you have to do is click a trigger and you have perfect sight picture, perfect sight alignment, perfect cheek weld, and when you click, you have perfect trigger squeeze every single time. Unless you can emulate deviations of that, no game is going to have realistic shooting mechanics. Period. Maybe a VR game. So just wanted to caveat that.
The only way I think that you could hit that is if it was you were in like the training sims that we had. What was it called? Like
Ismet?
The fucking,
is it Ismet?
The with the gas system hooked up
Well,
to your M4.
You're actually
shooting a screen. Like that's the only way that in a video game you could do that.
Yeah.
That's not a thing though, because that'd be expensive as shit. But
yeah.
That's the only way. Which I'm surprised it hasn't gone there. Like if you wanted to, you could have like your 4K TV and then like a laser, you know, like the laser bar, like what like Wii uses and stuff like that, and then your weapon for a shooter. But
then you can probably have incorporated shooting mechanics there. So
yeah, because if you can't hold that thing steady because you just had 8 rock stars, you know, you're not going to hit what you're aiming at, and it actually recoils. Yeah, that would be insane to see clips and people streaming on Twitch of like sitting there with a like, all right, put it on SAW setting, and you're like, oh shit, fuck. That's a lot harder than I thought. It's not like the video games. People hurt themselves and shit.
All right,
that'd be great.
Back to strategy games, though.
Yeah.
So this is a category near and dear to my heart. Preferably, and I keep fucking locking. There we go. Preferably in the RTS genre. I'm still locking the fuck up, but
let's just use Skype from now on. We'll set that.
I'm about getting pissed off with this Discord thing.
Yeah, Discord is stupid.
So, okay. Now, some of these are more into the RPG category, but they're still strategically combat based, so they're turn based and whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is I mean, maybe again, some of these would be under narrative when we do that.
And we're strictly talking from a story perspective. So, from a story perspective, everybody already knows.
I don't think Divinity would win.
Divinity 1 can go fucking. Divinity 1 can suck a dick.
Yeah, do we want to start with what we want to cross out first?
Yeah.
Before we choose what wins? So, I mean, we haven't finished 2 yet, so you just want to kind of disregard that for now then?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Dawn of War 3, I know we would count off because it's...
From a story perspective...
the story in it is kind of... I mean, it makes sense with the world.
Yeah.
With Warhammer 40k, but... Would you say it's better than the other Dawn of Wars?
Fuck no.
No?
Fuck no. Absolutely
not. The other Dawn of Wars, you actually got into, like... I mean, there's stuff, like, even in the first one, where, like, people are like, dude, like, you might get fucking, like, killed.
Yeah.
Not because of war, but because you're a little shit.
Yeah.
And you're not doing your job, and you're not instilling honor among your men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like... It's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Because the fucking Space Marines are... The Imperium is just ridiculous with how strict they are about stuff. They're pretty much Nazis, but...
For the Emperor, man.
Yeah, for the... I mean, I don't want to make the complete direct comparison, but they are very much, like, very, very structured and strict in that regard. of like, but there's a reason why.
I think you can take off Gladius wholeheartedly because there's not really a story element to that. It's more like a Civ game. It's very
Okay.
4X.
So it's really just between South Park and BattleTech.
Really?
And I didn't play South Park, but we both played BattleTech. See, the problem with BattleTech's story is it was more of like business management as far as the story. Like there were still things to do, but it really came down to the XCOM model of like, I have bills to pay and people to pay.
I'm sorry, man. The priest pulling the rosary out of his ass did it for me. That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even play that game, and I would laughing my ass off, and I don't really like South Park.
Yeah.
That's. Is this an easy category, or like, do you want to talk a little bit more about a couple of these?
Okay, so strategically, story-wise, like strategy games haven't really been known to really be deep in story, as it's about strategic planning and the mechanics, right? So
yeah.
I mean, we're lumping RTSs in here with turn-based strategy with 4Xs. So, but South Park, in essence, it's an RPG, but due to the combat nature with the grid square system per se, not really necessarily grid square, but I don't know what the fuck else to call it. Combat system you had, it qualifies also as being turn-based. So, I mean, hands down, it's South Park story-wise. BattleTech, again, it had a story element to it. That would have been my secondary. So
yeah, I mean, if we played enough, see, like the reason why these are all in one category is because we didn't play enough strictly strategy games.
Well, strategy games have been. There's not a lot of RTSs out there anymore. There's a lot more 4Xs out there nowadays, and a lot more turn-based stuff out there. RTS is kind of fallen down by the wayside. Like, you'll still see me, like, I'll hail Supreme Commander as something I would play to this day, and I still have it on my hard drive, and I love playing the fucking shit out of that game. I love that RTS. So, plus Company Heroes and Company Heroes 2. Like, if Company Heroes 2 was on this, that would be a really strong contender story-wise. Really strong contender.
Did you play the story in 2018?
No, I did not.
Okay. I haven't even downloaded it yet, and I bought it years ago.
Nope. So
yeah. I think we could agree that strictly strategy-wise, BattleTech would win.
Yes.
Out of these, but story strategy game, South Park would win.
Dawn of War 3 was a major disappointment compared to the other two.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they made it MOBA RTS. Yeah. So you weren't taking into account specific mechanics.
No, it says single player story games, Nico.
Yeah. Now, if it came down to like we were really like neck and neck with two games, like I was sitting there with God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2, yes. Like we start getting into specifics and stuff like that. Like, all right, these are, and maybe if Justin had also played God of War and loved it just as much as me, you know, we would be sitting there going to like the nitty gritty, like, all right, okay, so what about this and this? But what about that? Like, I mean, we've got wins here, loses here. I don't, you know, but. So yeah, BattleTech would win strategy.
Do you, Nick? Can you remember one thing about Divinity Story that you remember other than the annoyance of the fucking stupid little imp? Because that's all I remember.
I didn't care about the story. The story got annoying after a while in the first one. Like, remember we eventually got to the point where we just mashed through.
Yes.
Dialogue because we didn't care.
Oh yep. Remember that.
Yeah, but it is a turn-based style game, so and it's a strategy. So I mean, I guess we have that then.
Boom.
Was there anything else you wanted to touch base on?
Nope. Play it. This? You'll see. Yeah. No, because we're not getting into mechanics. Because I'll fucking take up a 10-hour slot talking about mechanics, but we're not talking about mechanics. We're talking about story.
Yeah. Yeah, and to touch a little bit more into why Divinity 1's story sucks so much is they did a terrible job of how they structured your personal motivation to do what they want you to do, and also
I didn't feel
not
attached.
just that. Yeah, but like
I didn't feel attached at all.
Like we started that game, and we'll beat this fucking dead horse again. We started that game with the intention of role-playing characters and getting super into it. And it was initially going to be an episodic thing that we did where we recorded episodes with 2 different perspectives. He would give me his feed. Like I would download his feed, his perspective, edit it in together so that we'd flip like tons of editing work into it and everything. And we get super into it. We even made a trailer for our playthrough to get it hyped. And then that game was just like, everybody in town just kept giving you the runaround whenever you were trying to find out the fucking murderer.
That was dumb.
And that was stupid, dude. Like I have not ever had to like eventually just be like, this is fucking stupid. Let's just Google what we're supposed to do and then get through this part and then get back to playing the game, you know? And then we had to do that several times. So
yeah, basically.
Yeah, an RPing Let's Play. Yeah, with multiple perspectives and everything. We were getting pretty into it. Trying to, at least, and the game fell flat on its face in that regard. For us. Maybe not for everybody, but for us it did. So, I'm sorry, but...
I'm not sorry. Fuck you.
No. No.
Fuck that game.
All right.
Anyway.
Next category. Well, yeah, that too. Yeah. That you started off as pyro and it fucked you. Because everything uses fire in that game. In the first one.
Oh.
How would you know
that? Ooh. This.
Isometrics, man.
This is gonna be rough. This is gonna be rough as shit. Woo! Here we go.
All right, so off the bat, we're gonna have to do what we know isn't gonna win, and we know that. Oh, well, I don't want to do that. We know Divinity's not gonna win.
Yeah. Oh man, fuck me. Okay.
And I didn't beat Fallout 2, so. Do you want it because I mean, we can talk about it when we get in here, but because I didn't beat Fallout 2, I started it in 2018. Do you want it? Like, I'm not going to cross it out, but like it'll be between these 3 pretty much.
All right, this is where we're going to have our debates. Here we go. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Because we actually played, except for Pillars of Eternity, we actually both played these.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh. Whew. Whew. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard, man, because Tyranny came out recently. I think it came out in 2016.
I recommend all these games. Well, minus
these are all
fucking, like I recommend all these.
Divinity 1, fuck off, but
I recommend all these fucking games.
Fallout 1, as a huge Fallout fan, as in I have the power armor helmet, the nuke, the fucking Pip-Boy, and a giant fucking Nuka-Cola poster with a, like, the poster itself was probably like $8 and the frame is over $100. I'm just saying. Like, custom framed, huge. It's about this tall, framed in my living room. I'm just, you know, I love Fallout, and it was fucking awesome to go and see where it started. And how much Bethesda just ripped from the original game and put in. And it was crazy to see, like, I loved Fallout 3 for my nostalgia. That it will always be my #1 nostalgia game. Man. But after playing Fallout 1, I saw how much they just, like, picked from it.
Yeah.
They just took it and put it in it. Like, it's still a great game, but, like, I didn't know that, you know. Like, if I would have known that, it probably wouldn't have been as, you know, like, this isn't like the old ones.
God, I can't tell you too much about Fallout 2 without ruining some of the fucking story for you.
That's why I said, you know, like, I didn't beat it, so that probably won't win.
And it's really hard.
You want it?
From a strictly story perspective.
Well, what's cool about Fallout is you could fuck up.
Yeah.
And not beat it.
It's
and you
hard
can screw
because
yourself and have to start all over again.
If I'm comparing, if we have to get rid of one, so if I'm comparing Fallout 1 story to Fallout 2 story, I'm just because of the super mutant threat in 1, on top of having to save your fucking vault. Oddly enough, I'm leaning more towards 1 story-wise than 2. Now, Fallout 2 to me is a better game.
Yeah, because
in other aspects,
series improvements, like they added the melee attacks have multiple uses instead of just one attack for it. Like there's the heavy attack and the light attack.
There's more choice, man. There's a lot more choice. Yeah. A lot more choice.
I think the start was a lot better too in 2. I didn't get super far, but the way they started it was not like, hey, water chip, go find it. You know, like, fuck, now where do I go? It was, you had a little more direction as a player.
Because I can't really tell you, like, antagonist in Fallout 2. Just from the impact of the storyline, I hate saying it because I like Fallout 2 infinitely better than I like Fallout 1. But Fallout 1, if we're doing strictly a story comparison, I think it wins compared to 2. It hurts me saying that too. Like it hurts. Yeah. It hurts saying that. It hurts.
But one was. I mean, it was an eye opener to games. It was great. It was amazing. It was.
You know, the children of Adam. Well, no. And the ghouls and the master and all that stuff. Like
yeah. And how many different ways you could, like, for when that game came out, how many different ways you could solve the problem?
Yeah.
Multiple problems throughout that game, how you could solve them. And what was one of the mechanics in that game that was so awesome is that every character that you talk to, any NPC had a database of knowledge, and you could actually just type in shit. Yeah, you could type in questions with your keyboard, and it would go off like keywords in that. I'm assuming how it was designed. And if they didn't have any knowledge about any of those keywords, they wouldn't tell you shit. So you could go to someone and be like, hey, where's the store? Oh, it's over that way. Like, oh, okay. Boom. There you go.
Well, yeah. Fucking shit. Yeah, I guess cross Fallout 2 off. That's my vote compared to 1. Just story strictly. Story strictly. I want to make that known again. Story strictly. Okay. Yeah. It's superior in every other quality.
All right, so now we gotta separate these two, and I'm gonna agree with Doc here. Pillars of Eternity came out before Tyranny, and they made definite improvements to the way that, like, their games in Tyranny.
Yep.
Now, Pillars of Eternity is a kind of a different take. It's a little less linear.
A little less.
It has its pros. Well, I mean, it's more of like the Baldur's Gate versus like you played Tyranny, and Tyranny's kind of
Tyranny is very very world impacting decisions, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, but it was more directed.
Yeah,
I would say, like it was there wasn't as much like little side bullshit, filler fluff. I guess there wasn't as much fluff that was pointless, just for the sake of fluff. Which all that's just to the consumer of the said fluff, if you like it or not, but there was a lot less of that.
I'm ready to do my vote, actually.
Well, okay, so this one's crossed out here.
Yep.
So Fallout 1 and Tyranny. Now, Tyranny, I'd actually made a review of this. Tyranny was such a linear game as in its relevance that everything you did, even side stuff, all fed back in. Like, everything you did in it fed back into the main goal of conquering, like the whole idea is Tyranny is you played the bad guy and you were like the left hand of the Empress, whatever her fucking name was, and taking over this continent in the grand campaign of the Empress or whatever. And that whole thing there, that was fucking awesome. It was great.
Technically, so was Fallout 1, though. I mean, even though it had like very different endings, though.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I had the accepted as the normal ending when I finished Fallout 1 where you shoot the Overseer.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome.
That was cool.
That was after all the shit you do, and he's like, I can't let you stay here because you're going to make people want to leave, so you have to leave. And then he turns around and you just... And another awesome thing about Fallout 1 is it's gory as fuck.
Yep.
Like, even for, a little isometric game, like, when you do that, it blows off his left side, and he's crawling with his entrails hanging out back to the door.
Fucking told you, man. Fallout 1. Fallout is supposed to be a very dark. It's supposed to be a dark game. It's supposed to be a dark post-apocalyptic game, not happy-go-lucky stuff. You know what I mean? That's where there's a lot of dissension between like what Fallout is now versus what it was then. So, you know, it's supposed to be a grim vision of the future, I guess, grim vision of post-apocalyptic stuff. So,
and they did a great job.
Yep.
Amazing job. Better than the newer Fallouts, actually, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking I hate Discord. Keeps freezing you. It's stupid. Like, even when we weren't streaming yet, it was doing this all the time. It's ridiculous.
We'll fix it. God damn. All right.
So I'd say I'm guessing your vote is Fallout 1.
No.
For isometrics.
No, actually,
no,
it's not.
No.
My reasoning is due to the amount of choice that you have in Tyranny. The choices you make inevitably, it's solely based upon a decision of the choices you make in Fallout 1 affect whether your vault lives or dies. Grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Tyranny, the choices you make affect an entire fucking continent.
Yeah.
So
and you're within the first 45 minutes, if you sit there and read everything, that affects your entire playthrough.
Right.
The decisions you make, which is cool.
I mean, so in retrospect, it's more of a grandiose story element.
Yeah. I mean, it's also one of the few games that I've played where choices you made, you have a renown system, a notoriety, and people actually react off things they've heard about you. Like, oh shit, you were the dude that fucking slaughtered all those people in that battle. Or like, God, you know, and they'll react to you differently because of a choice you made. They're like, damn, man, if I wouldn't have made that choice, they wouldn't react that way.
Yeah. If you were talking about game mechanics, though, I would tell you Fallout all the way, just because of all fucking things I could do with the action point system and blowing fucking things up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And player empowerment from the start when you're fucking punching rats to you're in enhanced power armor with a plasma rifle melting everybody inside the church. Like, that was fucking awesome. Like, come at me, and everybody's missing and glancing as they attack me. And I'm just like, ha, 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 ha. That was great. But as far as Tyranny as a story, I would agree. Because, again, it came back to that relevance of everything you did in that. And it was amazing. And, I mean, shit, I sat there, and that was an episode playthrough. I did a Let's Play where I voice acted everybody. And that was a fuck ton of fun. I really enjoyed that game for that. That game I kind of just let myself get super immersed in, just playing with me and recording off stream. And that was great. That was a great story. I highly recommend playing that game. I think actually, if you click all your Prime loots, it was actually one of the Prime loots last year. So was Pillars of Eternity. Also, if you guys wanted to grab the Fallouts, the original ones, Bethesda made those free too. So you can grab those.
Mm-hmm.
So you say Tyranny?
Yes.
Tyranny was fucking great, man. That opened my eyes to what an isometric can be. I was just like, wow, that's fucking awesome. Like me going to go do a side thing that I heard about, like there was some enemy captain or whatever. It was like, hey, you could go, like some dude was like, hey, you could go chase him down if you wanted to, you know, like he kind of split after that battle we just did. And there was reports of his sighting, like a couple days later in game, you get reports that he was sighted down there. And you go and do that, and something happens when you go and do that, which leads to it coming back into the main story. And then how all all your, did you beat it?
What?
Tyranny?
Tyranny? No.
Okay. So I don't know if I want to spoil it for you then. I don't know. But at the end, you get judged for what you did through the entire game, and you get to argue. You actually get to argue it too.
Huh.
So games don't let you do that. I won't spoil how that happens or where and what, but That was great, where they review everything you did and all your choices, and you're like, and then you get to have a conversation about it. And what was also fucking cool in that game is there were other people that were like you because you were the Fate Binder, right?
Yeah.
That was what your title was. There were other Fate Binders of different things. Fate Binders were people that had like some special gift and were taken by the Emperor or Empress to be like the left and right, like left hands or stuff like that, like generals, pretty much. Well, actually, no, you were below general. Well, it was like you weren't quite a general because there were generals. Remember the two-faced guy or the eight-faced, four-faced guy, and the other like there were those guys, but then there was you that was a separate thing. I forgot what they called the generals, but yeah. So it was awesome. They did a great job on that game. Great job. All right, so isometrics figured out. Honorable mentions to Fallout 1, but Tyranny 1. You should go play both of those. You should do it right now, actually. Actually, wait until we're done, and then you go play it. Download it while watching, and then play it. There you go. Indie!
Look at all that,
Look at all that green. Made me realize that I played a fuck ton of indie games this last year. All right, so I'm just gonna go like I played, or I'm gonna go through these, and then I'm gonna mark off the ones that I know aren't gonna win. So I played Valley, I played Tacoma, I played Super Hot, I played Kingdom Come Deliverance, I played Ruiner, Iron Brigade, Vampire, Fury, and Bastion. We both played Hellgate London, which is kind of, guess, an indie game, and then it got a re-release in 2018, but it's only the single player. And then we both played Soma this last year. So Kingdom Come Deliverance definitely isn't going to go on there, so we're just going to strike through that. Vampire I didn't beat, and the reason being because that game had a really cool fucking premise that it took place during the Industrial Revolution era, pretty much around there, of London. You become a vampire, but you were also a doctor, and that provides an interesting problem of your oath as a doctor to do no harm. But you need to feed on people. Also, you can turn people to save them. So that was an interesting perspective. There was very limited combat in that game, but the reason why I'm knocking that game off and why I stopped playing it was pretty much what the whole entire gameplay came down to. They actually dumbed down the fighting mechanics because they didn't feel very strong in that regard. So they dumbed them down, which is what I wanted out of that game, like a vampire that fucks people up. But what happened is the game pretty much came down to getting to know. You pretty much play investigator. You go through people's houses and talk to other people to get to know people more, so you can unlock more dialogue options with people, so that you can gain more blood experience when you feast on them if you choose to do so. And that's what the game came down to. And I don't give a shit about that. Like, I was sitting there like, what is my motivation here? Get to know this fuck stick in front of me, so when I choose to feed on him, I can get more out of it if I want. Like, well, why would I want to feed on this guy? He's a good guy. He's a fellow doctor. He's helping people. He's not actually part of the hospital, because the hospital said no, don't help the poor, but he's helping poor. Like, and then like I'm talking to him, and I'm like, oh, there's all these dialogue options, and I can go find out more about him to unlock more. Like, why? That's not what I want. I don't know. It's just a motivation thing. Like, I don't want to do this. And then I eventually got to the point where I was just feeding on everybody, so I just didn't fucking care anymore. And then yeah, so it kind of missed the mark for me with that game, so that's why that's knocked off the list for me. Fury I also did not beat. It has one of the best soundtracks in a video game I've ever played, because it's all my favorite music, Carpenter Brute, Perturbator, stuff like that. It's a top-down, like, really intense fighter game. So you know what Justin isn't interested in?
I love indie games. What are you talking about?
Yeah. You actually said this last year that quite a few times you've made the point that this is the rise of the indie games.
Yeah.
It just so happened that 2018 you did not play a ton of them.
I mean, technically every single fucking game I play was an indie game, but we're talking about indie story games. So like, because Ground Branch is technically an indie game, fucking EFT technically is an indie game. Fucking Star Citizen technically is an indie game.
They're just not indie story games.
They're not indie story games. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah. Well, I guess then technically, would you want to put fuck, what's it called? Starts with the V. That early access game that you played and really liked.
What was it?
Visage.
Visage.
Would you? I mean, would you? Well, it's still early access though. That's why probably why we didn't. Put
I think it
in
fits
here, right?
better in other categories.
Like, and yeah, we have it in horror later on, so probably fits better there. All right, so Fury I didn't beat because it eventually got to the point where some of the mechanics were stupid, where you have to go through a very hard section in a fight on the old guy. For those of you that played it, where it takes about 15, maybe not 15 minutes. It felt like you have to go through 15 minutes worth of stuff to get to this one part, the hard part of that boss fight, where he teleports around and does fuck tons of damage to you, and if you don't land your hits, that's your only time to do damage to him, is in that small little window, and you have very little time to get that mechanic down. So when you fuck it up, you have to go through what felt like 15 minutes worth of shit again. That was hard to get to that little thing again, so you can get better at that mechanic. I'm all for beating my head against the wall so I can get better at something and get it, but that I had to draw the line on that. So it is a really fun game. I don't know if I ever beat it because that kind of pissed me off, but and the soundtrack was so good, man. It was so good. I didn't like that fight. I liked all the other fights except for that one, so that's why I'm marking that one off. Iron Brigade was a game that Penguin gifted to me. It's actually a mech game, a co-op mech game, and you fight aliens, but it's like World War II mechs. It's really weird. So like your mech is literally. Have you played Iron Brigade?
I have not.
So it's yeah, like think like World War II as far as what they have for machines, but you're a mech. You control a mech and you fight aliens. So you have like cannons, mortars, machine guns, all in like World War II kind of era. And like when you're upgrading the armor on your mech, you're literally just like putting sandbags on the top of it to protect you. Like that's. So it was fun. I don't think it's going to win, but it was hilarious and fun, though. And it was worth a mention, and I played it in 2018. So Iron Brigade is so goofy. I love it. It was great. It was fun. I had a ton of fun playing that with Penguin. I'm glad he gifted that to me, but I don't think it's going to win here. It was fun. It was a fun little game. And you do get to like choose different parts on your mech and it has like spots to put weapons and stuff like that, and different weapon systems you want to put on them, and based on how many slots those weapons take and stuff like that. So it did have some depth to it. It was just a stupid little fun game. So what else would I knock off this list? I don't think Hellgate London's gonna win. I don't know.
Not story wise, no. It's one of those things that falls in line with Destiny. Well,
yeah. It was more about the multiplayer experience with that,
which
and
they took away.
Didn't have it on launch. Yeah, so which sucks because it was really fucking cool. Like they didn't even really update the graphics that much in this re-release thing, and I didn't even care. It was just fun. It's just it sucks that they didn't have multiplayer in it, and I'm hoping somebody mods that soon here. So, all right, what else would I knock off the list? I'd probably knock off Super Hot. Super Hot was cool. It was a short little game. Took me about 4 hours to beat. It's very like pixelated art 3D. The whole idea of Super Hot is like kind of how it plays. Did you play Super Hot?
No.
No, it's not on here that you played it. Never mind. Did you watch me play Super Hot?
Probably
probably a little. Yeah. So it was like the like basic 3D models of people and stuff, and what you have to do is go through a room where you can die in one shot or one melee, but you can also kill people, and it's pretty much like a first-person version of Miami. Fuck, what's that game?
Hotline Miami.
Hotline Miami.
Damn,
it's like a first-person game.
God damn it, we should have put that fucking thing on there.
Damn it. Yeah, I mean, we can still add it. You can still add Hotline Miami.
I don't think I played that this year. Did I?
No. Yeah, shit.
I
didn't. I played it years ago.
I don't remember.
Buddy of mine had it. He's like, dude, play this. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is awesome. Well done. Yeah, so it's like a first-person version of Super Hot. Its story was kind of eh. The ending was, like it had a twist on it and everything, but it's not. It wasn't a bad game. It was fun, and I'm glad I played it, but it wasn't It wasn't like, oh my god, this is the best game I've ever played, and it would win this category. So I'll knock that out for me. This is all pretty much just me right now. All right, indie games, Nate, go. All right, so let's see here. Bastion would probably be the next one I'd knock off. Bastion was fun. It was a top-down game in a 2D art style, a little more playful, cartoony. The story was fun. It was interesting. Did Superhot have a story? It did, but it was really limited to the whole, came down to you were playing this game that your friend gave you, and then you were doing really well at the game, and it turns out you were actually controlling people, and you were a hitman, and the system made you keep playing it or else they were going to kill you. And then you killed yourself at the end of it. It was yeah. But I mean, as far as like an indie story kind of game, yeah, like versus Justin played a fuck ton of indie
horror
multiplayer games. Yeah.
Multiplayer stuff.
Yeah. Indie horrors, indie like that's why it's in here. That's why
it's okay. My slide's coming.
Yeah, no, he's got it. Yeah. When we get to horror, it's gonna be like, well, I played a couple, but here you go, Justin. There you go. But yeah, Bastion was fun. I enjoyed it. It had all these different weapon systems and challenges that were fun, so you could unlock better upgrades. It was compelling. A little frustrating at times, but aren't most games. I'd say I love top-down games way more than platformers. I'm much more okay with that, which leads us into another top-down game that I really, really liked, which was fucking Ruiner, man. I mean, we have a command from it that Dirk dropped earlier, the Kill Boss. That game gave me a boner, dude.
Oh,
that's a later category, the Kill Boner. But Ruiner was just, oh man, that was great. It had some frustrating mechanics, so I don't think it's going to win the indie category, but it was great. The story in it was great, though. Well, if we're going by story, not by mechanics, yeah. Damn. Because Tacoma was more of a narrative kind of thing. It was an indie game. You go to investigate a space station that went silent. Everybody's gone. And you're trying to piece it together. So there's a interesting way that you do all that, and that you play recordings with some very limited like holograms of what happened, and you're trying to piece together what happened and figure all that out. And then there's an interesting twist at the end that was quite interesting based on how the whole story plays out, and it was enjoyable. I don't know if it would win though. It was good, but I didn't give me, like, I'd recommend playing it, and it was short, but it didn't give me the feeling that Ruiner gave me. So
I've heard a lot of good things about Ruiner. So now I can comment on Soma. But
I didn't finish it.
You didn't finish it,
motherfucker.
yeah,
I had my own little ending. Remember what happened? I got locked in a room, and the AI was stupid and wouldn't leave. And instead of just reloading save,
run, dude.
It was stupid.
Oh,
man.
so you had a nade moment, and you were just like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, fuck it. This is my ending. I die in this fucking yeah. Fuck it. I'm done. I'm not going anymore. This is where I die because it pissed me off so much, and I just wasn't in the mood for it. So that's where that ended.
Not in the mood, man. It is what.
Yeah, I mean, you know how horror game mechanics are supposed to go. Monsters lurking around, spots you, you go hide, it goes away, so you can get to the thing you need to get to. The problem is the enemy would not leave, no matter what.
I did that with a few games, Agony in particular. Get it? I fucking get it. Fuck that.
So
anyway,
so for me, that's not going to win. Although the narrative was really fucking cool, I wish that didn't happen because I was really into it. But like Soma would probably win if it didn't do that to me, but because it was a really cool idea.
But are you using a mechanic to influence your story making decisions, or?
Well, I didn't finish it because stupidity, so it's not going to win for me.
But I didn't play Ruiner, so I can't comment.
Yeah. I mean, there's only like 2 of these that we both played. But I mean, I can make an argument of why Ruiner should win.
Please.
I mean, I'll talk about Valley really quick so we can get to that, so we can mark Valley off the list. I think it would become between Soma and Ruiner then. But Valley was a game that Dot gifted me. It was a couple bucks. It was another one of those little games that was short. Only took me like one stream to beat it. You pretty much have this mech suit thing, and you run around this little world with these weird old spirit things, and the whole concept is that life can be taken away from things to be given to other things, to like regrow vines, to kill trees, to grow this, so you can get around and kill other things by using that energy, and also use that energy in your suit. Also, when you die, it takes away from the energy. Like when you die, it kills the forest to bring you back to life. It was a very interesting mechanic, and then it had an interesting twist at the end of the story too. And it was like an old military base that was trying to use it to weaponize it. So it was fun. The entire thing was fun. I don't think there was a single moment in that game where I was like, this is designed terribly, and this pisses me off. The whole experience was fun, and it was just pleasantly surprising. I'd recommend it, but I don't think it was impactful as Ruiner and how awesome it was. But it was good. It was really good. Which game was the Metal Gear clone with the Overwatch character ripoff? That would be Ruiner. That would be Ruiner. So Valley was good. I'm not going to cross it off, because that deserves that respect there. I guess technically Bastion wouldn't deserve that either, but I know Bastion's not going to win here.
Does it beat Ruiner?
No.
Then cross it.
No, these other ones don't beat Ruiner. Yeah. Fine. If it'll let me highlight it. So, Ruiner. You're this dude with a helmet that is a LCD screen that shows his emotions based on what happens on the screen. And you pretty much have been mind hacked to go kill boss. You have to kill the fucking boss of the Megacorp. That is your mission. Because he kidnapped your brother. And there's also this other chick that looks like the girl with headphones or whatever it is. And she turns out she also hacked you to do it. And it's like, and she calls you puppy, and like the whole, like the story of it, and the whole like feel, and the I'm trying to think of the word to describe it. The like how would you describe like the world and the feeling that it gives you? The ambiance, not necessarily ambiance. The experience, just the experience, I guess. It's not the word I'm looking for what it is, but Ruiner had that, and it made me feel really fucking awesome about it. Puppy's a reference to Neil Gaiman's American Gods, as you are considered the bringer of death. Interesting. Okay. Was it in Ruiner was a reference to that? Faux show? That's cool. Puppy reference in Ruiner. Makes me want to Google it.
Multiple things at once, and this is really your category.
Yeah, the handler called him puppy and stuff. I don't know if it was necessarily a reference to that. I thought it was just kind of a cute little pet name because she controlled him. So it was like, hey, puppy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, puppy.
So,
I mean, that might be. That'd be cool if it was, but
in comparison to a video or a game about fast traveling into the future where you portray as not a human and dodge all these mechanical machinations in order to save the human race by...
That is on a hard drive in a VR world,
yes,
in a satellite thing. I mean, it is really fucking cool. I just didn't finish it. It pissed me off, but it is a really like you're like, people have become like, their personalities have been put into machines and robots, and you are actually just network of circuitry in a diver suit, which is cool. And you have to go save the human race because what had happened? That was it a what had happened that wiped out
some sort
the
of
human race?
cataclysmic event. I think it was.
It was an asteroid or something.
Yeah.
And then the dust fallout was going to kill everybody.
Right.
Or whatever. Yeah. So one little station's idea to save the human race was to upload all of their personalities into a VR world and then shoot that out into space and hope that that lands somewhere or something, or can like restart life. Like, and that whole argument of like, well, are we really dead if it's still existing but in just a different plane that we created? Like, it exists, it's there, you can pull it up on a screen and look at it and what's going on, and it's real in there, but it's not real out here. And that whole argument was really fucking cool about it. But for me, Ruiner was like, I mean, it was just, you know, like that was when you were also telling me about Carl Jung and the whole like just use it, bro. Don't let it use you, you know, and like your shadow self, and like coming out with just like straight up just says on your face, kill boss, and like, like kill, you know, and all that. So like that for me, when the experience in that game and playing it was just really resonated with me. The narrative in Soma was really great, but I would say that Ruiner wins for me there. I don't know about you. Like what?
I think I'll go with it on the premise that that's, I don't know. It intrigues me, so I'll go with it. I'll go with it.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to find it. It's not in here.
I'll go with it due to what I've seen. It intrigues me. I can't give you any kind of input storyline wise.
Damn it, it's not in here. I was gonna grab the Hello Darkness helmet and put it on me, but yeah, Hello Dark. Yeah, okay, all right. So we'll go with Ruiner. I think that also actually came out in 20. When did Ruiner come out? Actually, 2017 September. Never mind. Okay, one will win there. Maybe I'll beat Soma at some point, but it was really good. Ruiner was better. Next category?
Yes. I'm not getting blown the fuck up here. So, here we go.
All right, Justin.
This is no longer considering the single player story games. We're considering just as far as what fits the best in the genre, since you've seen the single player story game just go away, right? So, we have
Best in Horror,
Visage, Infliction, Home Sweet Home, Agony, Rhea, Among the Sleep, Soma, Observer, and then you played 35mm, which I haven't fucking touched, Call of Cthulhu Recent, and The Dark Corners of the Earth, and Hollow. I can already tell you right now, Hollow's not going to make that fucking list at all. At all. I kind of had the same thing you did. I didn't fucking bother beating it.
So would you mark off Agony too?
Fuck yeah, dude. I didn't even see Agony on there. I skipped over, I think, or maybe I read it off. That game's a piece of shit too.
I'm gonna mark off. I mean, 35mm was an interesting little story and narrative, but there were mechanics in that were really stupid, and it was interesting. It was like hey, I recommend the movie if you ever want to watch it, you know, like that kind of thing. But it's not the best movie ever, that kind of thing. So, boom. So boom. That's yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna go into the Visage. Of course, Visage and Affliction are very similar in that you have no idea as far as backstory on what's going on, and you kind of have to piece together what's going on through the narrative. And Visage in particular breaks it into chapters, whereas Infliction, it all kind of ties together into a narrative that fuck, I mean, I played Visage, I don't know how, maybe 3 or 4 hours. I still don't know what the fuck's going on. And when I played Infliction, I drew my own theories, but I had more questions having beaten the game than when I first started. Home Sweet Home was a tie-based horror game about just tie-based ghosts and stuff like that. I don't think that's gonna win any awards as far as game of the
Is that the
year.
one in the
That was the one with the
hospital?
goddamn clicky goddamn fucking ghost there that had that stupid fucking carpenter's knife that would click 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 click, click, which ruined me forever. Every single time I hear that from now on with the carpenter's razor, I'm gonna think of that game from now on. Like, fuck.
Like a box cutter? Like the segments
Yes,
of blades?
right.
Okay.
You can
Alright.
break them off
Yeah.
to
Okay.
keep the edge sharp. Yeah. Um. So. Araya was the one in the hospital with her dead friend and stuff like that. I didn't bother beating that yet, so we can cross that off. I don't think it holds a candle to the other ones on my list I'm looking at anyway. Among the Sleep was a nice little play where you're playing as a child or an infant and traveling in this world. Although it was unique, I don't think it's going to win Horror Game of the Year. Soma, we already know about Soma. Observer, man. Ugh.
Yeah, Observer was so good though. It was more like its narrative was cool.
Its narrative, but it like
experience.
I like how it took you into different fascinations of
like people's dying brains and memories.
So if I'm gonna be real, I'm really torn. I like Visage, but I still have no idea what the fuck Visage is going on with Visage, and it's not fair to list it as a game of the year when it's not complete. It's still in early access, so Visage can go. Infliction is complete, and Infliction was. It's actually funny how Infliction is actually competing with Observer, in my opinion. When Observer is, it's an indie title, but it has a big team to it, and with a lot of backing behind it because it's the same guys that did Layers of Fear. But Infliction was done by one guy. One fucking guy did Infliction, and it's got the awards and acclaim that it does.
As far as horror, the Call of Cthulhu games wouldn't win horror for me.
And the great part about that is that you can see people play both Observer and Infliction and get very different fucking noticing and different playthroughs on how they did things. You'll see that no playthrough is the same.
Yeah.
No playthrough.
Yeah, I mean, it took me like 4 hours to get through Observer, and then I Pink played it, and it took her way more than 4 hours.
And there's different endings.
Yeah.
Or different ways of doing things. So it's just like you've got. Infliction is. My theory is it's a man's struggle, I think, in a hellscape, and he keeps reliving like this shit. But I don't know. And then Observer is a cyberpunk horror game, which is like, whoa.
With what's his name as the voice actor?
Yeah.
Some people said that he was really boring for that, but I thought he was perfect because he was fucking.
Fuck other people.
Dying and like losing touch.
Other people like Divinity 1, so.
Rutger Hauer. There we go. I thought he was a perfect choice for that person.
I don't know. I'm gonna be real here. Infliction
was the clone dude, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like he was a synth in. What was it called? Blade Runner. He was the big one. That's perfect. But anyway.
Yeah. The fact that fucking Infliction can stand up being a one-person team is impressive, but I'm gonna be real with you. I would rather play Observer again than I would play Infliction again, because Infliction, after I talk with the creator, it's like you're not really supposed to know what the fuck's going on. Even if you piece the shit together, the ending doesn't make sense because it answers no fucking questions. So, and I'm like, okay. So it was basically created to make your own interpretation of what's going on. So I'm going with Observer just because I would, if I had to pick between one of those two games, I would pick Observer every time.
Okay. I mean, I didn't play
hands
Home
fucking
Sweet
down.
Home. I didn't play Among the Sleep. I didn't play Araya. I didn't. I didn't play those. But as far as the Call of Cthulhu games, as far as their narrative, it's really cool. But horror didn't really. I had one jump scare in Call of Cthulhu, the 2018 one, which it got me, but it was way more about just the story in those. So I would agree with you with Observer, where you're just like, dude, what the fuck is going on, man? I mean, it was made by the people that made Layers of Fear. And they brought that in a cyberpunk way with the whole like it just keeps getting more and more fucked up. And you're just like, what the hell's going on? Like when you turn around, things change and stuff like that seamlessly. So I'd agree. I'd agree with Observer. But yours would be stuck between Infliction and Observer, but you'd say Observer?
I would say Observer.
Okay. I would agree with you there. So that is TG's win as Observer.
Yeah.
With honorable mentions to Infliction.
I haven't seen anything.
It was made by one fucking dude.
On top of that, I haven't seen anything compete with Observer. It's almost like it's its own unique horror experience that I haven't seen done before yet. I don't think can recall a cyberpunk horror game. Can you?
Yeah. I don't know. Shit. I'm trying to think of one that's actually horror.
Yeah.
Well, would that point and click game I was playing count? I have no mouth and I must scream.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, but it wouldn't beat Observer. It was cool, but it definitely wouldn't beat Observer.
That's more like a puzzle nightmare. I think about it as I would fucking hate this.
Yeah. I mean, my honorable mention, whatever it would be, Call of Cthulhu, because it's fucking H.P. Lovecraft, and I really enjoyed it. And actually, that's one of the few games I played, one of the very few games ever that I've played through twice to get different endings. So I don't do that with games very often. Very rarely do I do that, but Observer was awesome in this category, and I agree.
I think we should take a break.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's another hour.
Yep.
All right. Another break, guys. We're going to take one every hour. We're only on slide 8, and there's 18 of them, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next is going to be multiplayer co-op. We're going to start multiplayer, which has co-op versus and co-op with versus, so like PvPvE. PvPvE. Yeah.
PvPvE.
I keep trying to see if I actually said that correctly. So, all right, guys, we're going to get some tunes for you. Some tunes. And we will be back. Now, let's go with this one. Oh, awesome thing about Magic Sword is they allow their music on Twitch. Copyright free.
How about that?
It's fucking cool. And I like Magic Sword. So we'll be back momentarily, guys. So, co-op multiplayer. The reason that Destiny's not on here because Destiny is a co-op and PvP. That'll be in later categories. Because we played a lot of multiplayer games this last year, so we broke them down into a little more than just that. So this would be a big fucking list.
Ooh. Co-op list. Co-op multiplayer in general.
Yeah. So like Divinity co-op is very unique.
Yes.
It is good. It is like I like it because like that's the reason why we kept trucking through first one is because you can't get that out of a turn-based style game. And a lot of them you can't. Like it's like the only one of the very few ones you can do that in, where you can have co-op story where you like your characters actually have conflictions with each other and you know all that. Like you don't get to do that in a lot of games. So with a very easy way to connect too. You just send an invite through Steam. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Far Cry 5, of course, is tackling fucking mission-based objectives together and like that and doing side missions. Killing Floor 2 and Vermintide 2 are kind of in the same category as far as just like massive slaughter and cutting through a fucking level and getting to the end and stuff like that and constantly upgrading and stuff. I don't know what the fuck the genre is called. I think there is a specific genre name for it. I just don't know what it is. It's kind of like a Left 4 Dead kind of vibe, both of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's wave-based shooter.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Horde-based, wave-based, something like that. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. And it's fun.
Yeah.
That's why it's on here. I mean, we just put every game that we actually played this last year that would fall under here, but Vermintide 2.
Yeah. As far
as fun.
Cooperability in its essence, I guess. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, as far as ones that we know wouldn't win this, what do we want to mark off? These are the hard ones, man, because they offer very different experiences, but they all hit the same goal of playing with friends.
Yeah.
You know. But so, what gave us the least of that? I mean, I kind of want to mark off Monster Hunter World, even though it's awesome in that, but I like doing things solo as much as I can. I can also co-op in it.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Yes. In this category of multiplayer, I like doing stuff more solo.
It doesn't have elements geared towards co-op. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I mean by that, there's not specific elements. There's not like in Divinity 2 where you literally have a Divinity where you literally have a fucking rock paper scissors mechanic, which is a built-in no shit co-op mechanic. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah. We're like, oh well, I want this and I want this. All right, we got to fight over it. Okay.
So,
although the rock paper scissors shit was bullshit in that, but whatever. Yeah.
Haven't encountered it yet in Div 2, so we'll see what happens.
Thankfully.
Vermintide 2 and Killing Floor 2 are the horror-based games, and
I mean, they're both really fun. You can get a fuck ton of time out of them.
Yeah.
I'd say you'd probably get more time out of them than Far Cry 5 co-op.
Let's see, Far Cry 5 co-op has that unique aspect to it I mean, you can play through a story together, so I guess it just depends on how important a story is to you in a co-op game.
Yeah. But this is I mean, we had Far Cry 5 in story things, and this is I don't know. But that's also a big talking point for Divinity is
I guess I'm going to go down to replayability. I would replay Far Cry 5 once or twice with a friend, and then I would probably get Killing Floor 2 and Vermintide 2 I can pick up with people no matter what and just play through and 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 play through.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like Borderlands.
Yep.
You know, you could go pick up Borderlands with people and just play again for the fun of it.
So in that essence, I think KF2 and Vermintide 2 are, since it's so fucking team based, if you're looking for a constant co-op experience, that's going to be better. Even though I would, there are certain people I would play Far Cry 5 through again with, but at the same time, it would be the same thing. They would play it through once or twice, and they would be like, "Okay, I did it."
Yeah,
I did it. So, I could probably be crossed.
The hard choice.
I think.
You want to cross out Far Cry?
I think I would be okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we're not talking story elements.
Now, what could definitely change the Divinity thing is if we actually beat two. I mean, definitely not one. I mean, I'll mark off one, but two, and then getting into if we actually got into the game master thing.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it's good, that could make it win. But as is, we haven't played enough of it to really tell yet.
Yep.
I guess it technically wouldn't win here then.
Nope.
So it's between Killing Floor 2 and Vermintide 2.
Yep.
So they're such different games, but they both hit the same thing. Like Killing Floor 2 shoot shit and kill zombies.
Yep.
Whereas Vermintide 2 is a little more complicated. It's much more skill.
Just don't interrupt my goddamn 9 Inch Nails. Will be.
Yeah. What? Fucking. You guys mind if I? I don't care. I'm listening to 9 Inch Nails. Oh man, that was great. But Killing Floor 2 would be a game that you could even more so just keep picking up and playing with people again and again and again. Like you can just come back to it and play. Whereas Vermintide 2, the reason why I stopped playing it is we got into it. We were playing it a lot with people. Then we started picking apart how endgame would really look and like what our road is looking like to keep playing this and get better at it and get better gear. And that was not something that I wanted to keep playing.
We thought about KF2?
No, Vermintide 2.
Vermintide 2. I would agree with you on
Yeah.
that. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I like shooting things. That's my
Yeah.
my only reason, kind of why KF2. And plus, it's very gruesome. It's very, very. I mean, yeah, Vermintide 2 is gruesome too. Like you're wading through melee and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I like shooting. I like shooting shit. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get you. And it is cool that it is a medieval game in that genre, though.
I think that's the problem. Is I get so saturated. I get so saturated with the fantasy elements of that it's, I don't know, man. I think it was because I was saturated with it so much, maybe growing up, or saturated when I was doing a young gamer, that I was just saturated with fantasy elements all the fucking time, that when things started pushing into the modern genre or the futuristic genre, it was saturated for me. So I don't know. I think Killing Floor 2 would be more my style, me personally.
Yeah. Maybe if they found a way to make it so it didn't just come down to an RNG loot grind with Vermintide 2.
Oh man,
that's what it came down to.
You're right. Yeah.
That's all it was just keep playing until you get better stuff, so that you can go up to the next difficulty.
Yeah.
And then just keep playing until you get better stuff, so you can go on to the next difficulty, and then just keep playing until you get better stuff, so you can go on to the next difficulty. And that was the progression there. And I mean, I guess you could argue that like Destiny's pretty much that, but they come out with new content, blah blah blah, whatever. But
well, yeah, Killing Floor 2 adapts its content for free, like Seasons Beatings and the Halloween one, the Carnival of Death, or what it was, like free updates that keep pushing out to the community, which gave a fuck ton
but
of
you
maps.
could still, yeah, like I haven't played Killing Floor 2 in a while. I could go pick it up and easily just fall right back in to doing well, versus like, sorry bro, I don't have the gear for that. So I can't do that level of difficulty with
flop in, flop out, man.
Yeah. And Vermintide takes a lot more skill. And I think that's what kind of killed it too, is when we'd play with rando players.
I
wonder if the reason why we're having a problem with Discord is it's going by Discord South or US South. Maybe that's why.
Well, I'm in South.
Yeah. Well, where in the South is their server? But anyway. Yeah, I'd say Killing Floor 2 then.
Cool.
Yeah.
Stamp of approval.
I mean, not a bad game. We're not saying it sucks. It's just
Killing Floor 2 decision must be made.
Yes. Boom. Co-op is taken care of. Now we have strictly versus.
Oh. I can already tell you what's not going to win on that list.
Yeah. I mean, technically, Call of Duty would be on here, the new one, but we don't fucking like it, so it's not on here. I only played a little bit of War Thunder last year. I didn't play a ton.
Me neither.
So that's probably not going to win, even though it's cool.
Yep.
It's a really cool idea what they're doing. Big Head's been huge into it, so good.
I've learned the majority of my War Thunder shit from watching him, so.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. I'm playing vicariously through him, and it's fun. I like that. It's a wonderful thing about Twitch. But I don't think it is going to win our versus.
I don't like Siege.
So, yeah. And I stopped playing Siege because like it was fun.
Sorry.
But one, I bought the starter edition, so I unlock stuff slower, and that pisses me off that I can't just upgrade to a full version and be normal. Mm-hmm. And people are like, well, why don't you just buy the expansions that you want? Like, no, that comes into microtransaction territory. Just let me have the normal progression. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking stupid. And the community is fucking annoying as shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've been working on assignments and stuff, and people that have been playing the game so much don't care anymore. so they would rather just like fuck with other players on our team versus actually play the game, and it fucks me. So
I think it's an abomination of the Rainbow Six name. I'm gonna be real harsh on it. I'm sorry. I came from the Raven Shield Rogue Spear days, and fuck you.
Shouldn't be called Rainbow. Should have been called something else, in my opinion.
Just call it Siege.
Yeah, just call it Siege. Call it some other thing. What it does well, and I will give them the credit that they have been keeping at that game and supporting it for a long time. I'll give them that. It's a cool idea that you have like kind of like the Overwatch mentality of certain characters balance other characters' stuff, and that's cool and all, but not gonna win for me. Now we have Overwatch and Battlefield 5. Now Overwatch is a fun game, but I don't think it's going to win either. So, I played that for the first time. Everybody knows Overwatch, what it is, but you know, thank you, Oceana, for gifting me the game. Awesome. I'll keep playing it here and there, but I would rather go hop in Battlefield 5 with people over Overwatch.
Hey, there's something missing. Oh wait, never mind. It's on the next one. Okay. I was like, there's a very, very important game missing from that list.
Yeah, it's a versus co-op. So, oh, you mean Destiny?
No.
Where's Destiny?
Well, that's on your end.
Well. So I guess we're just down to Battlefield 5, and we can talk about why it's going to win, but it won, so...
Because it's still actually fun to play. They had a really big fucking problem with the TTK mechanics, but they brought it back to their standard TTK mechanics, so, you know.
Yeah.
I play it. I would happily play it. If someone said, hey, I want to play a game Battlefield 5, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's still a fun game to hop back into, and they did a really good job with bringing back that teams matter. Mm-hmm. And roles matter, like, based on what you can do with that role. They did a great job with that. And we've talked about that several times on TG.
Yep.
As to why. So, boom, boom. Boom! There we go. Versus is taken care of.
Too easy.
Versus and co-op. Because it has both. Again, green is what I've played. Red is what Justin has played. White is what we both have played, so.
Oh, man.
What would we mark off? We have Fallout 76 on here. It's Emergency Sandstorm.
I like playing Fallout 76, but I haven't touched it in a while.
Yeah.
So I would not have a problem with that being crossed. EFT, I wouldn't have a problem with that being crossed.
Well, I mean, we could argue why, I guess.
Okay, here's the reason. Sustainability for me. Fallout 76, yes. I enjoy playing it, but in comparison to everything else on this list, it's not there for me. You know.
Yeah. We stopped playing it.
Right.
That's the reason.
Escape from Tarkov.
I really do hope that they fix it.
You know, Escape from Tarkov, it being solid and stuff like that, but I'm not willing to fire it up again until I get a little resistance. I'm tired of playing through wipes. So
yeah. I'm also really tired of the up and down with desync.
Yep.
It sucks that we're going to be saying this about Fallout 76. I was really fucking stoked for that, but it'll come back. Hopefully at some point they'll fix it. Oh, did you hear about the latest news with that? With Fallout 76?
Nope.
What happened? So somebody found a dev room.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that. And they're fucking suspending accounts now.
Yeah, and they're suspending accounts of people that have been in it until they respond to their email as to how they got in it. And I just like, that's not how you handle that, bro. Come
Man,
on,
dude, their fucking PR is just fucking atrocious. Holy fuck.
Yeah. Not sponsored by Coke.
Are you trying to kill off your shit? Because
yeah. I don't just...
Damn.
I'm just like, hey, I like the game. Shut up. And that's Bethesda doing that. Shut up. You're suspended. Like, what did I do?
Oh man.
I think my number one thing, my biggest thing that I'm upset about with Fallout 76. You know, you can have all the other stuff that sucks about it. But the problem is they did not actually deliver on private servers so we can mod it.
Definitely not yet.
Because then modders could just fix all the problems that are in the game, like every other Fallout that we've played. Modders fix all the things for free. You know, like Bethesda doesn't have to pay for that, but they missed the mark there. So hopefully, eventually they do that. And that if they did have private servers, I'd be like, dude, that's still a game I play like all the time, because I have my own private server with the Blast Zone, and it's fuck tons of fun. And we modded it, and we all get together and have fun. But no. So, what did you say about Arma 3? Well, that was what we made of it, though. That's the problem there. But it allows you to do so.
Yeah.
But would that be because of versus and co-op multiplayer? Would that be like what the game has to offer, or what we did?
At its core, Arma 3 isn't really a game. It's about what you can get out of it. Arma 3 really is like a sandbox of tools, and you kind of just make it what you want it to be.
Yeah.
So in that
like base game,
in that aspect, it's kind of what you make of it. So it's kind of weak as far as what Bohemia is, kind of weak in that aspect, but it's mainly meant to be a sim. So it's what you can make of it. Like the things the things we're doing with it is very, very fucking powerful, and we're making a very, very addicting experience with the tools that Arma 3 has provided us. But as a whole, as itself, it's in its own entirety, with its own mechanics, without any kind of player induction by itself, it's kind of weak. You know, if you just wanted to hop in server and say, I want to shoot people in the face, or hey, I want to go and complete a mission with, it's very, very weak setup for that.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it. It's a great game, and like again, what we've done, it's
one of my all-time favorite. Honestly, that's why I bought a PC. That was the single-handedly the reason why I wanted to get into PC gaming was the Arma series, single-handedly. So it's always going to have a very special place in my heart. Period. But speaking from a strictly fucking transparent standpoint, if you just wanted to fire the game up and just play, no. There's such a fucking learning curve with that. It's ridiculous. So,
and again, why it's on here, guys, is these are games that we played in 2018, and even more so, it wasn't released in 2018. Even more so was because last year was when Justin had his own server, and we were doing some very in-depth shit that you can definitely check out on his channel. It was fucking awesome. That's why it's on here, because of that experience. Now, if we judged it solely on that experience, it would probably win this part, but
I mean, you're trying to
hold that to all of these.
Trying to get people together to play just an Apex campaign playthrough, it's dumb shit to allow people to fucking see and connect to you. It's a hassle.
Yeah, that was annoying as hell. And that, like, we kept team killing the guy because we didn't want him to play with us.
Yeah, and then the versus aspect, it's all this fucking mod integration and stuff you have to get lined up and set up. It's a very bad way of handling it. So, like,
yeah,
someone would fire this up and be like, "Fuck this."
Yeah. Oh my god, and the base game's weapon sway and how all that.
Horrendous.
Dear God, man. Without mods, Arma 3 is.
It appeals to a very particular crowd.
So, you know, we gave it its fair argument, but so I guess it would come down to the game you really, really like and the game that I
really, really like. Here we go, and
I haven't played Insurgency Sandstorm, so now as far as a versus co-op game, I mean, Destiny 2 has raids, has competitive, or it's not really competitive, has tons of different PvP modes, has a fuck ton of things that you can do in PvE. It's really fun to play with friends. It's got a lot of problems of its own, but when it comes down to it, there's enough shit to do in Destiny right now that I can't even get, like, even if I played all week, I wouldn't be able to get to my secondary characters yet. I have too much to do on one character. I can't get to my two other characters. There's just that much shit to do in the game.
Insurgency is kind of like the opposite of that entirely. There's no fucking shields. There's no fucking knocking somebody down a one shot. There's no loot progression. It is like the complete fucking opposite. It's, you have points, pick the attachments you want, pick the shit you want, go in there. You can one shot hit somebody. Your weapons are very lethal two-tapping anybody is going to kill them pretty much, and it's very positional based and tactics based. So it's almost like the complete fucking resounding opposite of Destiny 2 as far as one end of the spectrum versus the other. The only thing they really have in common is you can ADS and shoot. That's about it.
Yeah.
That is about it.
They're very different games, so it makes it hard to even argue this. And technically, Tom Clancy's Division would be in here, but
I didn't play.
I mean, I got really into it in 2018. I'm pretty sure was when I really got into it.
I kind of did too, but it was like whatever.
It's I don't know. We have Division 2 coming out.
Division 2 is going to be a heavy contender.
So,
but I can't say anything about
that'll be
it.
next year's thing.
The only thing I can say is I did get involved in testing, and that's about all I can tell. I can say that's it. Nope, can't say shit.
Yeah.
So
cool. So I don't know, man. I don't know how we could even argue because I haven't even played Insurgency Sandstorm, and you've played Destiny, but I don't know. It's like, how could we like choose like a TG
without being a dick about it and saying I'm right, you're wrong? That's about the only thing.
Yeah, that's the only way. Yeah. So, I mean, it just might just be a tie category, really. Because I definitely choose Destiny 2 to be the versus co-op that wins.
You'd be hard pressed to get me to budge from Sandstorm compared.
Yeah, I know.
I'll fire up that game any time of the day and I'll fucking have a good time.
And I can agree with you that there are, from what I've seen you play of Insurgency Sandstorm,
it will beat
what it tries to do.
It will beat your ass until you fucking figure it out. I think that's what I like about it.
And it's different every time.
And I would play Destiny 2 as well. That's the funny part. Like, it's on my hard drive.
But you can't really compare them because they're very different games.
Yep.
Now, say if we fast forward to next year's versus co-op, we're going to be talking about Anthem.
Oh my
Destiny,
God.
Maybe Destiny 3, whatever. Anthem, Destiny, and Division 2. And that's going to be quite the conversation about what's going to win this category.
I'm kind of curious what's going to happen in Destiny 2's, like, the Forsaken DLC now that they split off. Like, how is that going to get? They haven't finished them.
Yeah, there's still the annual pass left for this year to do stuff, so that's interesting. It also makes me worried about they're in a position now where like they probably had to pay a fuck ton of money to Activision to get themselves out of that contract early. Mm-hmm. So is that also a point where we're going to be like, hey guys, I know we just charged for an annual pass, but we need your support now more than ever so we can keep going? I don't think they're in
I don't think that would be the smartest move.
Yeah, they're not in a place with the game. It would just be like, oh, you want more money?
If you're solid enough to secede from your big boy Activision, it means you have the money and resources necessary to make it happen. So you shouldn't have to need to ask for more fucking money.
Not sponsored by Coke.
Not sponsored by fucking Dickies.
Yeah. Although I would be. That would be cool.
God.
Dude, we should look into getting sponsored by Dickies. That'd be fucking awesome. You know how cool that would be if you could say like
God.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, man. Shit. Get like a free meal every day. It'd be cool. All right, whatever. This side. I don't know. I don't want to find a singular and be like, fuck you on this. Like, mine should win. How about this? We won't, but I'll go buy Insurgency Sandstorm after this and play it.
Cool, and I'll go play some Destiny 2 with you. That was my plan.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to play some more Destiny 2, man.
It's funny because I've been saying to myself that I need to play less Destiny 2.
Well, good, come on.
So I can play other shit.
Come to the dark side.
Yeah, but I'll try out Insurgency Sandstorm. So I'll go buy that. We've got some Steam money left.
Play it for 2 hours. You don't like it, refunded.
Yeah. So I guess that's just a tie between those. So because they can't really be compared is the reason. So they offer very different experiences. Although I will say this, as far as the PvP side of things.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the kicker. Destiny 2 has a very, very strong co-op appeal, whereas Insurgency Sandstorm has a very, very strong versus appeal. That's where it's just like they both are resoundingly solid in different aspects. So it's almost like balance each other. Because Insurgency Sandstorm has a co-op feature, it's just weak.
Yeah. Not a lot to it.
But it's
not really the whole focus of the game either.
It's a very, very strong versus feature, and it has a competitive fight, whereas Destiny 2's fucking competitive modes, other than their PvPvE mode, it's like the Crucible mode to me is pretty fucking weak. Like
it's peer-to-peer. Well, it's a hybrid system. But it's terrible.
Upsets me.
And balancing of gear is terrible. We could go on for hours about how it's fucked up.
That's why I haven't done any Blast Zone Berserker shit, because it's just like...
Yeah. It can't be competitive with their current model. It just can't be. So that hinders it. So, all right. That's why. I guess we could just say this wins versus.
This wins versus. That wins co-op. That is hands down easy. Boom. Boom.
There we go. Like easy. If you compare Destiny 2's PvE to Insurgency Sands, like no, Destiny wins.
Very easy.
And then versus no
fucking contest in that aspect. There you go. Boom.
All right, next section is multiplayer battle royale.
The most hated fucking franchise in the most hated but loved, most bought into but hated.
I'm just doing what we know. So we did play PUBG, we did play Blackout. They're gone. And I did play Dying Light: Bad Blood.
I don't think we're gonna argue about this at all.
It's kind of a battle royale, but it was It's pretty much like they took the exact map from Dying Light, made it battle royale, and it's
Ring of Elysium.
So, Ring of Elysium wins.
And it's free to play. It's great.
And it's free to play.
And I have a good time.
And I mean, shit, they have corner peeking. We've talked about this before on TG. That your attachments actually third person, first person.
Man.
Yeah. The fucking attachment thing is one of the biggest. Also, you hit what you aim at in that game. Doesn't feel like there's a heavy desync all the time.
I mean, you're not using 20 Hz servers? No way.
Yeah, what? Blackout? What? I kind of want to, like, maybe a couple months from now re-download Blackout and play it again and see how I feel about it.
I'm just waiting to see when they say, hey, server hertz is improved. I'm like, okay, I will download it and play it. Until then, I'm just like, fuck off.
To give it another fair shake, but...
Nope.
That was just... Like, I'm like, oh, okay, so, like, there's that whole... God, this is stupid, I'm failing. And I understand that everybody has that feeling. It's usually because you suck. I get that, but Justin's brain and my brain and a lot of other people's brain have a higher plane of operation where we can separate where it's our self versus what the game is doing. Granted, hindsight's 2020 in every situation in a video game, especially a competitive one like Battle Royale, you could always have made a better decision. But in that instance, when you're making a move, and what stops that move from working was desync or stupidity, like because of the game, that's where, like, I'm just saying that we realize when there's a difference there between I just shouldn't have done that, you know, like I shouldn't have made that call. That was a stupid call by me. There's a difference there. And time and time again in Blackout, it was just like, what the fuck happened there? When I started shooting at that guy, the game didn't drop to 5 frames per second, but he did. You know, like, fuck that.
Well,
and stuff not connecting.
Clearly, hit registration is just, it's one thing. Like, there are certain elements in Ring of Elysium that piss me off, like getting knocked out of prone into a crouching, or in certain surfaces where it doesn't allow me to prone through it, and it fucks up my tactical fucking advantage I was going to establish. But when it comes to BR games on the market, and we're not even gonna fucking mention Fortnite because fuck you, I'm not playing it. But
yeah, it was on there, but no. Whatever.
We
don't like Fortnite.
I'll play Ring of Elysium anytime. For as far as BR selection, there might be some days where it pisses me off more than others, but
and it's fucking free.
It's
free.
Hey,
you want to play with us? It's free. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And it's better. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than a $60 game that you both bought and don't play anymore?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I tried refunding that shit, but yeah. Okay.
I would if it would let me.
It
And
won't
I
though,
was over here
'cause
saying,
you downloaded it and played
and
it.
I still hold true to my things. If it becomes 60 hertz, it could be the definitive BR experience. If
Yeah.
they would just, my shots hit.
Yeah, because it is a AAA game making a battle royale game. There are, we don't just hate AAAs. There are benefits to that. The guns feel good in that game. They do. They feel great. It's fucking Call of Duty. That's what they do, is guns.
But literally,
You know,
the selling
it's-
foundation of your fucking franchise was the gunplay. The fact that your gunplay feels atrocious is okay.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Ring of Elysium 1. Boom.
Boom.
Best modded game.
Ooh. I can already tell you.
I put Monster Hunter World on here because it is modded. I did play it in 2018, modded. It doesn't necessarily make it beat these other things. It is cool that they do have mod support on PC, though.
Dude, the New California is a beastly mod. It's
It's very ambitious mod, and it nailed it.
Mod, dude.
Yeah, combines Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas.
Well, no, it's an entirely. It's a fucking. It's its own storyline. It.
It actually has a separate.
It's a mod that is an entirely that you're thinking of something else. This is an
Okay, my bad,
entirely. This mod could have been counted as an expansion pack. I think how did they get like 30 hours of play out of it? Every line of dialogue is voice acted. Graphically improved, completely different story, very well done. It's almost like this is a fucking mod. Like, what the fuck is this? This should be a fucking expansion.
30 hours? Okay. That's crazy. That's awesome.
So as a fucking mod, like, wow.
That's a hard argument with Arma, because it's not necessarily that those mods came out in this last year. I kind of want to give it to Fallout because of that, even though what we've done with Arma.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a specific mod. That's one mod that's that great versus what you can do with Arma and what we did with Arma.
I mean, it's hard because that Arma 3 undoubtedly. I mean, New Vegas is a fuck ton of mods too, so it's really hard to fucking thing. We're talking best modded game for the year of 2018, though. So.
So that would change it. That would change it.
Oh yeah, that would
around.
change it. That would fucking
right.
change it a lot. Yeah, ain't nothing gonna beat me.
Yeah, you guys have an Arma server. It's hard. It's hard. It's a hard choice. It's what you guys did with it versus what the mod did, and that makes me want to play that.
Arma 3 has a fuck ton of things though. Like they have grid scenarios. Yeah. I think I would personally hand it to Arma 3 due to the wider range of diverse scenarios you could do, because we can Vomit, which is a tactical horror game. You could do military type scenarios. You could do RP like scenarios with Arma. You can completely change the fabric of the way the game is played with mods. Like
this isn't 2018, but a mod just came out that has a story and turns Arma into Halo.
Yeah,
it's the last
or Star Wars, or Warhammer 4K, or there's New Vegas mods that kind of do that too, but like the core element of there. It's so Arma 3 was basically designed to be a sandbox and kind of incorporate that. So like having mods in that just insanely ramps up the power. So I'm gonna have to hand it to Arma 3. But Fallout New Vegas, New California and like they're gonna do a Miami one too. Like
that's cool.
Those are some heavy contenders for the single player story guys that want to get like these guys are gonna get scooped up by game devs. They're gonna get scooped up because that's
definitely worth mentioning on here.
Powerful shit they're doing with an age-old game, dude. Powerful shit. So, and I love New Vegas, but Arma 3 with just the insane amount of very different degrees you can take it. Operation Trebuchet, all that shit. Like it's.
Who did that? So we can give him a shout out for that.
There's New Vegas Project Brazil.
New California. This that you're seeing?
Yep.
Or is this something else?
It's something
That's
else,
it?
man. Like I said, they're coming out of the
Damn.
woodwork with all these
Radiant
projects.
Helix Media? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a ton of stuff on. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these guys are smashing pretty hard. So
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Fallout has always had good mods to it too. Yeah. Just not Fallout 76. So although you did do your Snake Plissken playthrough in 2018.
Yeah.
I did a heavily modded little bit of play. I think I was doing survival and I stopped after a while. It was just kind of like, but I don't know.
As far
I
as this
played-
year, when you know, cake for me, just because things we did with that, it was insane.
Yeah.
The things we're gonna do in 2019 was fucking insane.
This is for us, not just games. Period.
Nope.
So. Arma 3.
Boom.
Might as well add the there we go. All right, next category. Survival.
Oh, did you mention Hellblade? I think Hellblade got mentioned later.
No, I didn't play it in 2018, did I?
No, I don't think you played.
I don't think. No, I didn't. It was 2017, which kind of sucks about it. But yeah, that was in the Game Awards of 2017. I remember that now. Yeah,
All right.
that was back then, and I wish it would have won more stuff, but no. So survival.
My two picks.
We both played Scum and The Division. It does have a survival mode in it. So, and Justin played
70s Die, Empyrean, and Conan Exile. My two things that come to mind on this list, because we've kind of talked about Scum and Empyrean, and the reason why I mentioned Empyrean is because it's pretty cheap, it's not well known, and just the amount of like the scale of Empyrean is huge, very very huge.
That was in early access category earlier, right?
Yes, it's very very huge. But as far as my enjoyment, I think Scum to me is hands down the best survival game on the market currently in that category right now.
Because it's open ended with what you want to do with it.
They keep adding when they added content updates. It's a major content game. So I think
I'm just writing down that I need to buy 7 Days to Die. Yeah.
So I mean
shit. In Scum, you can worry about your fucking B12 levels.
Yeah, and you gotta
like, oh shit, my vitamin B12 levels are low right now. I need to go.
You gotta shit and piss.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So I mean, survival mechanics alone, that's insane.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, what would we mark off? Division's survival thing is fun. It is.
I don't think that it has the survival elements that you're thinking in the others, though.
It's more of just like fighting cold and basic hunger.
Yeah.
And I did play a bunch of it in 2018. It's just.
I don't even think it compares, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Tom Clancy's
and
Division is not the sole focus of it. Is survival. It's just.
It's part of it. To get more loot and have fun. But. So what would you mark off your list? Out of the ones that you played that I didn't.
I don't. Here's the issue I've always had with 7 Days to Die. I always feel like I'm fucking. I mean, that's the premise behind the game, right? You're rushing to get resources to survive the horde that comes every 7 days. Then you hurry up and you're rushing to get more resources to survive the fucking thing. Which that can be appealing, but after a while, it's just like, can I just enjoy the fucking game? I always feel like I'm fucking. I gotta go. Time is precious. It's like, hey, fucking. Can I just enjoy the exploration aspects, please?
So you want maybe a 30 Days to Die.
I would be, yeah, if it was like I don't mind
maybe
cataclysmic events. That's cool, but just like I always felt like And sometimes that's good, like you're always on edge, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, man, like I want to explore this, but I don't have time,
Yeah.
you know?
Although I do remember you guys chilling in the hell did you make? It was some like giant castle thing full of cars and barrels, and you're gonna try to break the server, blowing them all up and stuff.
We broke quite a few servers.
It looked really fun.
But
And I don't really mind the whole graphical thing of it because of what they do. That you can, it has depth as well as width as far as what you can, like you can dig down.
yeah,
Most games don't do that.
it's cool stuff. I feel like I can't appreciate what the world has to offer, which part of that is exploration, right? And interacting. Like there's already an element of survival. Like Conan Exiles does well because you can like, kill your neighbor. Your neighbor might. It's more of like a Rust thing. You know, fucking kill your neighbor or whatever, and beasts and stuff like that. Nighttime visibility is low and stuff like that. So that's already the aspect. But it's like, oh fuck, like I gotta hurry up and get like I feel like I'd never 7 Days to Die. I feel like I'm glued to one spot. Does that make sense? I find a spot, I barricade it, I fortify it, I keep adding more defenses. Seventh day comes, I survive, it smashes my defenses. I spend like the first couple of days repairing that, building it back up. I feel like I'm glued to one area, right? Because it's suicide it's a you have to make that decision. Oh, I want to venture out and establish a new area, but I have to make sure I'm not going to fuck myself, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like when I 7 Days to Die, it's like you find your starting area, get glued to it, and you hamper your exploration because you just want to build up that one foundation area, and you're afraid to venture out because you got to survive the fucking horde. Whereas, I feel restricted. You know, I feel restricted. So I don't like 7 Days to Die for that aspect because I feel fucking restricted. Now, can that change? Yeah, it can fucking change. But at the current state of what it's in, I feel like I'm just. I don't want to venture too far out from the nest because if I get too far out and I don't make it back in time, you know, I'm gonna get fucked up. You know, I'm less like, well, fuck that. Like, I want to go check this shit out. You know, fuck.
Yeah. No, I get you.
So
would you mark that off because of that? As far as I mean, it's good, but and what would you mark off these two? And then would it just come down to Scum then?
Yes.
Okay, like these have very good things in them and are worth playing, but Scum
has its own element of danger and everything else. On top of that, you're battling hunger mechanics, and it's the most in-depth survival game I've played. So by hands down, easy.
Yeah, and like Dave was saying, I mean, caloric intake deficit, vitamins, minerals. Yeah, a lot of shit.
Boom.
Survival.
Role playing the tax.
I'm looking forward to more from Scum. I really am. That's why I bought it. Because it was one of those, it's one of the few early access games that I've been looking at that I'm like, you know where they want to take that? I want to invest in that.
Yep.
You know, I want to buy it now before, well, it's cheap. And then like a year from now, it's going to be a game that I sink like a whole month into. And I'm like, oh, you know, hell yeah. All right, we're in our best in category.
Here we go.
Or we can do our own little best in.
Oh my god, there it is. Do I need to start doing voice changer shit?
Yeah. Best in gun mechanics. So Arma 3, Escape from Tarkov, and Ground Branch. We've both played all of these. Now, my argument against Ground Branch is I still, like, there's a lot of things I like as far as customizing the weapon. It is very in-depth. Very in-depth, but my problem with Ground Branch is it still does not feel...
There's no prone. You constantly get smacked into high ready and stuff like that. Stuff we've talked about, the eye relief on the ACOG optics. I was talking with Scopey about that today. That's something that we're going to get fixed. It's just, you feel like the ACOG, it's way too fucking far away. And it's like, okay, I can't even make the fucking tip of the dick out versus the tip of the chevron out. Instead, it's like, okay, all right.
I feel like I was thinking about it the other day to explain it for this. Is I feel like I'm aiming a broomstick, not a gun.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like this light fucking thing that keeps smacking into stuff. That's what I feel like. Like I've got this, like they don't let me have a real gun yet or whatever. It's not more of like they won't let me. It's just more of like how it feels. The weapon doesn't have weight. It's not the thing that's gonna keep me alive or dead. I'm fighting it because it's like I don't know. Like it just doesn't feel like I'm moving a weapon.
No, I'll be real with you. I think EFT has the best mechanics right now.
Yeah. I mean, shit. They even do come down to it's all real parts.
Modifications, parts, fucking. They had malfunctions at one time, but out. Mag checking, chamber checking. Fucking leading.
Yeah, like you have to go Google what part you need to do the thing you want to that weapon.
Fucking
like, oh, I've got a shotty. I want to put like I had to go Google like I want to put a suppressor on my M4. How do I do that? Oh, well, you need a special muzzle device.
Yeah,
because
muzzle device. You got to put on a
master
device. You got different ammunition types. You have fucking all just the amount of fucking stupid ass insane customization. Not fucking that is pretty wicked. So,
but they have had more time to do it than Ground Branch.
Yeah,
to be fair.
Yeah, a lot more time.
So I could totally see next year when we do gun mechanics, Ground Branch winning.
Well, on top of that, they incorporated something else where it's like you can't just drag drop fucking free rounds in your magazine. Where he'll have to like you'll hear the load of like him actually feeding the fucking rounds into the magazine. Click, 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 and then when you hit like when you reload, you have no idea. Like it'll have a question mark on the amount of ammunition you have left in your magazine, or when you reload, it'll go, oh, question mark. Like I don't know how many rounds I have. So, and then you either have to feed them out or load them back up. Like they're really incorporating that aspect element of, they don't know.
Well, one thing I've thought about with that is like, why don't they do like, you know how like pistols, they have the holes with markers. So you're like at about.
Well, 18. They have to, so they can do that. But if you don't, it's like, well, you can feel the weight. Like it's about half. Well, it's almost empty. Like they'll give you those cues like that. Well, it feels full,
Okay.
That's the cues they'll give you. But
like maybe you fired 2 rounds and then fired or then reloaded, but you don't know.
Right.
So, okay, I get you.
You can't cheat.
And the guns do feel good.
Yeah.
The guns do feel good in it. They react correctly. I mean, Arma has great feeling weapons as well.
But that's more really what Arma takes into consideration, the different stances and everything else.
Yeah.
It's more about character control mechanics versus the actual gun mechanics themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put in a semi customization in there, but mag checking, chamber checking, malfunction, stuff like that. If we're talking,
those are mods we added.
Yeah, if we're talking strictly firearm mechanics, there you go. You got PEC lasers and all that good stuff too. You got IR lasers. So EFT kind of takes the cake on that.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Just Ground Branch just isn't there yet. They just need more time. Arma 3 is what you do with it with mods, really, but it still doesn't come close to what Tarkov is doing. That's like one of Tarkov's big selling points is what they do with guns. So I can agree with that. So gun mechanics, boom. I'm surprised you don't have to fucking clean your weapon too when you come back. Like, I think I remember joking that like I wouldn't be surprised if in EFT you have to sit down on a table, like manually take your weapon apart with your mouse and then scrub stuff and like.
Yeah, sure, it might come at some point.
Yeah.
No, I mean Arma 3. The big selling point for Arma 3 with me was character movement, really. And that kind of plays more in the strategic play than the actual gun mechanics itself. It's more about movement, like the different stances you can take, and the support behind cover and resting the weapon, incorporating the mechanics.
Yeah, and range.
Yeah, it's more about character control and animation versus the actual gun mechanics of Arma itself, because the gun mechanics themselves, everybody naturally says Armor 3 kind of fails when it comes to close quarters battle. Now, I don't really have that issue, but I see where they're
It used
coming
to be
from.
a lot worse.
Yeah.
Used to be bad. You get stuck on doors and stuff. You remember that?
Yeah.
You try to go in a doorway and you're just stuck on it and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So, gun mechanics, Tarkov, generally, I'll just kind of shits on everybody right now.
Yeah. And again, guys, the best in are all categories of things that we really like in games. So, realism.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we have Arma 3, Ground Branch, Escape from Tarkov, and Insurgency Sandstorm, which I have not played yet, so Justin has. But I've watched quite a bit of him play it. So realism, I wouldn't really say that Ground Branch is real.
It's
you have
tactical.
to dump quite a few rounds in a guy to drop him.
It's tactical, but it's still a 3-banger thing. So yeah, they're working on it. But
yeah, again, yeah, that's fine, and I'm really excited to see where that game goes. I am. I've been playing Ground Branch a lot more this last year than EFT. So, well, realism. I mean, Arma has like fucking meds on body parts.
I already tell you, Arma 3 is gonna win this.
Windage and elevation.
It's gonna win this for me, hands down. I've already said it. If you want if you want to get as close as you can to having a military simulator, Arma 3 is it.
Yeah. EFT's just not there yet.
It's not there. I mean, you're not going to give op orders anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Although eventually that would be cool if it comes to that in EFT.
No, EFT is
going to go out as a group.
Going to be more about survival anyway. In the long run of things. Insurgency stands.
It's pretty there, but it's just not on this level.
Well, no, it's not. Like, you're not going to get. You know, I tell people, you want as close to the authentic experience as possible. We'll get Arma 3. Everybody's like, oh, what about Squad? No. It's not there. Like nothing's going to compete with Arma 3 in simulation. It's not. It's fucking not.
Yeah, I mean you can mod it to where you have to worry about your barrel overheating. You have malfunctions that you have to go and clear. You have, like. Now, I would say the one thing that is the least realistic about Arma 3 is shooting people. Not necessarily the problem, like not necessarily the bullet mechanics and the weapon mechanics, but impacts on people and you hit somebody because of what their model does when
flinch.
You hit them in Arma. Yeah, they go like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's when you got to hit. And then they're dead because their body just goes, wah!
Yeah. Wow. In that aspect, right. Yeah, in that aspect, sure.
That's the only thing. Yeah.
Combined ARM assets and everything else incorporated in Arma 3, it's ridiculous.
But that would be like me showing you like everything that you can do in Arma, and then there's this little thing over here. This little tiny thing about when you hit people with bullets. That's about it.
Can I go to my manuals and apply it in okay. Can I go to my manuals and apply them in Sandstorm?
Yeah. Dude, I mean shit. I was doing a mission the other day in a scenario builder, like it just makes scenarios for me. I was doing a thing in that the other day just so I can get reacquainted before we get back into the ZFG server and stuff. And I chose a mission that was just recon, so I was sitting there with a map and a map tool, and you can shoot an azimuth with a compass.
Every time you say recon
Yeah.
now.
And then I went into my map, and I have the map tool with like with a full 360 dial on it, and with a grid square measure, and then as well as another measure that you can shoot your compass at a thing, laze it, and then go into your map, pull out your map tool, and then go into options, align with compass direction from your position, and then use that. Like, all right, so it was 1,653 meters, and then mark stuff on the map. Like that's how real it can fucking get. I'm sitting there doing real things. How I would really figure that out. Or like using terrain association to gauge the distance for stuff. It's completely real. So yeah, Arma 3 won. I'm sorry.
But remember, playing Arma 3 is not going to make you a Spec Ops commando. Sorry.
What are you talking about? I put it on my resume and now I'm in Black Ops.
I bet.
What are you talking about? Yeah, we were on best in categories.
It just translates very well.
Yeah. All right. Our next things that are important to us best in. Best in Kill Boner, as in a game that gave you an experience where you were just like, fuck you, fuck them up, get it. Oh, I want to go fuck my couch right now. God damn, like I need to fuck something. My hand, I don't care. That was amazing. You know, that kind of, yeah. That kind of stuff. I mean, shit. I have an emote because of it. You also have a moat because of it that I can't have because I can't upgrade my fucking sub.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
You have two emotes actually. You get the horns and then you got the slay bodies.
Yeah. I didn't do it, man. I didn't do it.
Yeah. So on the list we have Wolfenstein 2, Ruiner, God of War, Killing Floor 2, Monster Hunter World. I have had this feeling in all these games.
Yes. But I think KF2, since I've actually played it, would pick my picks.
That would be your pick?
Yeah.
There.
Now, I if I played Wolfenstein 2, I probably would say Wolfenstein 2. I haven't played
Wolfenstein 2 does give you the... Oh my god, man. Wolfenstein 2 gives you that... like your fucking BJ Blazkowicz just fucking... taking a hatchet and leg sweeping Nazis and then driving it into their chest and launching them into the ground. You got weapons in that one where you fire giant anti-material balls that just eat people and chunks out of people and oh my god.
Wait, when did Doom come out? Okay, Doom didn't come out in 2018 because I'm telling you right now, Doom Eternal win already next year. No contest.
No,
I'm
sure.
It's
I'm
sold.
definitely sure.
It's sold. No, done. Doom Eternal. Like, no argument. You don't fucking argue with me. Doom Eternal next year.
It's going to be hard to beat that. It's going to be hard to beat that next year, man. Which is why when we have these categories going from here on, I'm going to have these categories and fill them out as the year goes on. Which is going to be like, oh, this is going to be in here for me. This is going to be in here for me. So,
but no.
All right, so
I usually base it on if I can blare death metal behind it.
Yeah. I mean, Monster Hunter World, I had those moments a couple times, but it wasn't as like I think this is the biggest my dick has ever been. I need to go fuck something right now, you know what I mean, right? Like, hey, this is a good day for length. Let me go get a ruler. This is my new basis kind of thing. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, Killing Floor 2 is pretty slay bodies, but Ruiner gave me that. Wolfenstein 2 was just like, oh god, dude. Because you get an ability later on where you can choose to either be really tall and jump high. Another one was you can bash through things. And then another one was you can make yourself tiny.
Actually, my question for you would be God of War 2 or Wolfenstein 2? I'm sorry, God of War 4. Because I know that's what you're torn between.
Because I played the whole... Well, this is technically for me the whole series I played for the first time this year.
Oh.
So...
Well, you can't compare the whole series. Not fair.
I mean, but... I don't know. Like, Wolfenstein 2 would great. Well, for me, it's going to be God of War because I played through all of them back to back to back.
God of War is pretty brutal, just like, so I'm not gonna debate that. So
yeah, I mean, I was bouncing Hades off the ceiling using his own weapons and shit. Then I carved him open, and there's a part in God of War 3 where you're fighting Hades and you've got his hooks, and then you hook him and then hook it into the ceiling, and and then he turns around and goes like this, and then you mash circle. And Kratos just goes, and then Hades is just hitting the ceiling over.
Oh, that wins by default, no contest. All right, you got it.
Or you drive your fingers into Helios's eyes and then rip off. Was it Helios? Yeah, and then you rip off his head and use it as a lantern. Like
that's it. I'm cool with that. I can't do that in Killing Floor 2, man. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean it's fucking goddamn. I mean, Wolfenstein 2 was great. I highly recommend playing it for that bonerism. Ruiner was great because it was awesome slaughtering shit, but God of War, man, has cornered the market on just fucking brutality. Even the new one, I would still say would win this because I played on the hardest difficulty and that player empowerment. I have a clip that I can even show.
Please show the clip.
I have a clip that I can show. Okay, we're gonna have to go to this screen for this though. clips all time.
Kill boss.
Oh my god, there's a lot of clips in here.
God damn, do I need another fucking G Fuel scoop? Fuck me.
If I can find it. God, I wish you could separate clips by game. Fuck, how am I gonna find this, man? Oh, okay. Well, here's one thing I was talking about with Wolfenstein. All right, hold on. You get it. You don't do it on people here, but let me unmute. You're not gonna be able to hear it though. But here's one clip. I get this thing where I can charge people. But you can do this on people and make them explode. But anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. That's one thing there. That was really fun. It was a really fun part of that. Gotta find this God of War one. Airdrogger? No. It sucks that it's based on views. Can I not sort it by views? No, I have to. Like all the clips since I've ever been streaming, I have to go search through all of them to find this one clip of God of War, and I can't just search God of War in here. That would be fucking great if I could. Motherfucker. I can see like this Red Dead down here. I'm gonna know it as soon as I see it, though. Just derailed the Game of the Year talk here. There's a lot of Far Cry 5 ones in here, damn. Okay. Did I just save it? I might have saved it. Hold on. When I was making that God of War review. Might just be able to play it from there. And then I decided not to because I was just like, I'll just talk about it on TG. That's fine.
How many fucking
was it this one?
caffeine in this motherfucker?
Yeah, it was this one. Here it is.
The
150 milligrams.
Or whatever.
It's like drinking an energy drink.
I grabbed it early on and it's amazing, dude.
Had 2 scoops.
Yeah, 04 was asking like, hey, is this game pretty good?
Powerful as fuck.
This looks pretty epic. And this is after I've learned quite a few of the game's mechanics.
Ooh, that's
Tear
sick.
them apart. Oh, okay.
So I got one troll, bunch of dudes, more dudes running in, 2 trolls.
2 of them, huh?
He fucking picked up a boulder and hit him with.
Yeah, right? Throwing
sick.
boulders at people, man. He just smacked that guy. Oh my god. It's a fun fucking game, man.
Alright, this is a long fucking episode. I gotta get water.
Alright. Oh, that would have been a good idea. Control F. God of War. Yeah, there we go. I mean, this shit, man. In God of War, it's fucking... Oh, it's amazing. Now I'm on top of him.
Hey, guys.
And I'm making him smash everybody by punching him in the fucking head. God damn, man. right, this guy's turn.
Next one.
This is just one part of this game. It's ridiculous. So brutal. Love it.
Play this game, holy shit. Fucking right, man.
So brutal. But anyway.
Kill boner.
Yeah, kill boner.
Not kill
For me,
boss,
it's
kill boner.
God of War because of that. Kill boner. So would you agree God of War because of all that stuff and amazingness?
Yep.
Have you played the first 3 God of Wars?
Nope.
I highly recommend it, man. I kind of makes me want to send you my PS3 and them so you can play them, but yeah.
PS4 is gonna get covered eventually anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, that was our best in kill boner. Now we're at the final topic. And our final topic being, what is our overall game of the year?
Is this what came out this year or just
Separately.
overall?
Period. We don't play enough games that just came out to do that.
No, I could name a game that just came out this year.
As in 2018?
Mhm.
I mean, we could add a 2018 pick if we want in here.
Sure, do it.
So your 2018 pick out of games that came out in 2018, what would that be?
Emergency Sandstorm, done.
How did you in INS Insurgency Sandstorm
Mhm.
like that?
Mhm.
Okay, that would be yours. And what about period that you played this year?
Arma 3.
Because of what we were doing with that and everything?
Yep.
Yeah. Makes sense. So Nades 2018. What did I play that came out in 2018 again? I'm gonna have to pull up my my Google Docs. Google Excel, since we're gonna add that category. Or Sheets, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just pull it up on here. It wants me to download and then log in. Google Sheets. I always think of like shit. Like Google Sheets. This was a good sheet I took right here. Yes, it was great. It was great, yes. Played in 2018, yes. Yes. Sort A to Z. 2018, I had Kingdom Come Deliverance came out, Battletech, Vampire, Fallout 76, Destiny. That's just on Steam. Then I had God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. So 2018 alone. I want to say God of War.
That come out this year?
2018 Game of the Year. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It came out in 20. Right? Yeah, yeah. And it won the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Game of the Year.
Okay.
And then my period that I played this year. I want to just say God of War again.
Okay.
It was that good. I mean, Red Dead was good too. You know,
Don't force it.
if I had to have a different one there, it would be Red Dead. But no, that's God of War. It was God of War. God of War was fucking great because I played through the whole series and then got to experience that. That was amazing. I didn't do a lot of that this year as I usually did. You know, like before I would play like through an entire series of a game of the games. I play them all and then I go into the next story game. But I think that was the only series that I did that this year. So
As I chew on my
Yeah.
protein bar.
yeah, I've been having a lot of Lara bars. Tasty. God of War Nade killed like at least 3 people. At least 3. It was amazing. It was
At least.
Yeah. It was all the people, even civilians, which is funny. Then in the earlier God of War games, there's random civilians when the cities are getting attacked by demons and shit, that you kill the civilians so you can get health back. So he drops a little health orb. So it's like, I need health. Get over here. Like, no. But yeah, that's just that game. That's why I run one kill boner. Just kill everything. But
boom! Yeah. Holy shit, we made it! God damn, that was like 4 or 5 hours. I don't remember.
Yeah. To recap, early access games. Star Citizen 1 as our agreed upon, with an honorable mention to Ground Branch and Visage for either of us. Single player open world subcategory was Red Dead Redemption 2. Honorable mention to God of War. Shooter category under single player story games was Max Payne 3, because of it's fucking Max Payne. Strategy games was South Park. I didn't even play it, and I agreed with that. The Fractured Butthole. Isometrics was Tyranny. Indies was Ruiner. Horror was Observer. Multiplayer co-op specifically was Killing Floor 2, because of that. You can just hop down and play whenever, and they keep adding content. Multiplayer versus was Battlefield 5. That was a hard deliberation there between all those. Yeah. Multiplayer versus and co-op. Insurgency Sandstorm won the versus section of that, even though I know we put those two categories, but it has both. Oh. And then Destiny won the PvE side of that. We just couldn't have one win over the other in that. So Battle Royale was Rings of Elysium. Best modded game was Arma 3, and what Justin did with it, obviously. Can we all agree? I think we can all agree. We can all agree. Yeah. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please put in the comments below that you also agree. Also, like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And survival was Scum. Best in, our own little subcategories here. Escape from Tarkov won Gun Mechanics. Arma 3 won Realism for Best in. And Killboner God of War, because it's awesome. And then we have our overall game of the year. Nade, God of War. Justin, Searchy Sandstorm, Arma 3. Follow for follow, eh? I love that video that he shared about that. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
You didn't come up with it, I promise you. What? That was great. That was great.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there we go. We fucking did it.
Hey, we made it. How about that? Woo! God damn, that was a struggle.
Yeah, it's time for that thing that we do.
No, it's that thing.
The thing.
That thing.
Yeah, the thing.
All right.
Yeah, that thing.
Guys, you know the deal by now. Go to Twitch. Nope. Go to Twitch. Follow. Go to Twitter. Follow. Go to YouTube. Subscribe. For more disgruntled Marine vet comments and making fun of people. To you, buddy.
Hey guys, I'm the theNadeFace. Twitch, live stream all the time on there. Full-time schedule kind of thing. Variety streamer. You can see my content. Hey, there you go, the theNadeFace, as you can see over there. Over there. We got the theNadeFace on Twitter, where I shout out my stuff when I go live and such on, and retweet streamers that I like. And we got the YouTube on there. Occasional content. If you want more of the YouTube side, check out our TG that you can find on there. You're already here if you're watching it, but it's Talking Guns on YouTube. And Justin Red 87 puts a lot more stuff, or Cobra 493 on YouTube puts a lot of stuff on there. So if you want to check, but that is mine, just so you know. So thank you all very much for coming by.
Not Pornhub.
Yeah, not Pornhub. That was our Game of the Year talk for 2018.
Fucking did it.
Awesome sauce. Thank you guys.
Fuck. Woo! Holy shit.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next year with a category of narrative, which I think really should have been needed there.
Yeah, probably, definitely.
Yeah, it's too late.
Probably, definitely.
Yeah. Right. Catch you guys around.